Hey, welcome back to the episode Instagram podcast. I'm your host Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me, Hey Trip.
Hey, baby boy, how was you?
How was you? I is good. How was you?
Pretty friggin' good. Hey, we had a 3-day weekend, and during that 3-day weekend, we got to watch Crunchyroll from at home. We got to watch some Crunchyroll Expo.
We sure did. We sure did.
Yeah,
that's the episode. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much. So Crunchyroll, yeah. Normally Crunchyroll Expo would have been going on in San Jose. We would have gone down there and checked it all out and talked about a bunch of cool shit. Fortunately, this year, despite everything, we were still able to check it all out and talk about it and cover the full 3 days. This actually gave us more time to check out panels, but definitely left a lot to be desired. There is something so much better about an in-person expo.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of reasons.
Yes, absolutely.
To be very clear.
we're going to get into this. I know that this is obviously not ideal to have a virtual expo, but it's cool for Crunchyroll to do it. And this is the first year that we had to do it at Anime Expo the same way. So we'll have that to compare it to, and we'll just be able to talk about some of the stuff we watched and just kind of our experience and what we thought could be improved, for the future if they decide to do a virtual Crunchyroll ever again. Hopefully next year there'll be a normal Crunchyroll, but you never know.
Hopefully we never have one again, but if we do, it's cool to have. At the very least, they might be able to offer this to people as like some kind of a, hey, you can't travel to us, here, check it out, we know how to do it all online now. Yeah, something like that. Regardless, I'm going to talk about Crunchyroll Expo pretty candidly, even though it's a great feat for like what they had to try to put together and throw it all online and keep people incorporated and having a good time. I'm for sure just going to be open and honest about how I felt about each panel, what they each did well, what they didn't do well. Because, I was really looking forward to this. Let's say that. So I feel like I've been hyping it up. I should also be very honest with it.
Yeah, Trip's going to be honest. I'm going to lie because I want that corporate sponsorship.
Which doesn't work if I'm on here, so we're just going to edit my parts out.
Yeah, we're going to put his microphone really quietly.
It's going to be like, Mesoamerica.
No, it's 5 minutes of me going, because we turned your microphone off, and it's just like, yeah, man, this is the greatest thing ever, and then 5 more minutes of nothing, because it's like, this is when Trip was complaining. But yeah, we'll get into it. We'll have we'll try to be honest, we'll try to be fair, and obviously we're not going to be too harsh because it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't rail into them for anything that didn't go right or whatever. This is a first time thing. Nobody's done this before. It's so cool that it was able to happen and that people were able to participate and talk to each other, and that they were still able to facilitate a pretty cool I guess expo going convention community. Yeah. It was interesting.
So we'll get into that later. But first, Trip,
what?
Ask me how I'm doing.
Happy birthday last week. It was your it was your birthday pretty recently, so you've been doing some birthday stuff. So I think you've been doing good. But what's good? What have you been up to?
Nothing much, just my birthday.
A little bit of burfing.
This past week, I think so. After we record the last pod, my birthday is on the 3rd of September, which makes me very happy because it's 9/3 and I was born in 93, so special Juan.
Pretty fun.
Turned 27, so I do feel old. Not super old. I didn't feel that bad about it turning 27 because I was like, it's just a number. And then I got a text from Beliza, our friend, and she made me feel like shit. To be fair, when it was Beliza's birthday, I also made her feel like shit for being old.
Yeah, I'm like, you literally aren't allowed to be mad at Eliza.
No, I'm not.
Bully her so hard.
I'm not mad at her. I'm just saying I was feeling good, and then I got a text while I was still in bed. It's just like, hey, what's up, you old fucker? And I was just like, damn. That's a hell of a way to wake up.
Yeah, well, 27 is not that old.
Yeah, and then I got a text from my mom, and we were talking about other stuff, and then she's just like, it was just like random stuff, and it's like, she's like, oh, you're almost 30, aren't you? And I was like, this fucking bitch. Oh, she want my mother to chokeslam her. But no, I don't. I think I've talked about it in the past on the pod. I grew up Jehovah's Witnesses because that's what my parents, that's their religion and stuff. So I didn't celebrate birthdays until I was a lot older, until like I started dating Sierra, and she made it a point to make my birthday like a bigger deal. So I'm still getting used to just all of it. Like it's, well, I don't know, 5 years maybe I've had a birthday, and like I think
only 5 years.
I think so, yeah. Because even before that, I still lived at home, and I was like, it wasn't like Sierra didn't feel comfortable to be like do a birthday party at my parents' house, or like, you know, it was just like a whole thing. She would always give me stuff like gifts and stuff, and I know we'd have like a special day, but it was never like a birthday party or anything. I think my first birthday party was I think not my first. One of my biggest ones she did was for my 25th, and that's when I proposed. But she made it very kidsy. We had like a fucking bounce house, and you know there was like games and stuff, and everything was like just like really kidsy 90s, like baby
pizza
themed. Yeah,
pockets and chicken tenders.
Like in what's it called? What's this shit called? It's like those
tiki torches.
No, I'm talking about it's like those little packets that have like sugar in it. What are they called? Pixie sticks.
Pixie sticks, yeah.
Like pixie sticks. It was fun. But yeah, so because of, you know, the way the world is right now, obviously we didn't throw a huge birthday, which I'm happy. I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan. It's hard for me to get used to it. I'll do it if I have to, and I try my best. But anyways, 27. See, it was a super chill birthday. You texted me. We got to talk for a bit. And I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Having sushi for fucking dinner. Playing Fall Guys with the boys."
Woo!
And that's about it. Like that was literally my on my actual birthday, which was really fun.
Such a cool birthday.
Yeah, no, it was nice. And then, you know, got a bunch of birthday wishes. Thank you to all people who gave me birthday wishes. And then I think on Sunday we had our family dinner, and I mean Sierra's family, like they always like to do everybody's birthday dinner. They have like a special Sunday. So I got to pick. We had like gourmet hot dogs, which is like fancy like hot links and Polish dogs, which was really good. And then Sierra also took me out shopping, which was my gift, because like we're at that point where like we do get each other stuff. Like here's a little surprise, but it's also like, hey, what do you want? Like what do you want for your gift? And I was like, look, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I was like, and I'm kind of tired of the way I dress. I feel like it's very dark colors. I have a lot of black t-shirts, like a lot of white t-shirts, a lot of like anime t-shirts, you know. And I was like, I just kind of want to switch it up. I want some more color. I want some things with collars or things with buttons, you know, just like I want to switch it up.
That's big switching, baby.
Yeah, so I was like,
I saw you with the polo and your snap.
Yeah, for sure. And I've wore polos in the past before, but it's not like I make it a thing to wear a polo. But I just like, you know what? I'd like to just dress different. So that was my gift. Sierra helped me, you know, go shopping and stuff. And obviously I didn't buy a whole new wardrobe, you know. We got like started like, okay, cool, a few of these, few of that. And I still have to keep buying more clothes to make an actual, like, I guess an ensemble of clothes that I can wear. But it's cool. Like I opened my closet. I opened my closet today because I was doing laundry, and I was like, wow, look at all these different colors. It's not just here's the black section, here's the white section, here's a few red shirts, and there's a blue shirt. You know, it's just like there's a fucking orange one. This one's kind of pink. This one's blue. This one's baby blue. And I was like, this is pretty fun. So that was really cool. Yeah. And I got your gifts today in the mail.
I saw.
Because all I fucking asked for from you was, hey, shake Sierra's hand. Like, if you shake, because Trip refuses to see us. No, shut the fuck up. Trip refuses to see us.
Yes.
Trip because of the pandemic, which is fine. More power to him. But for Sierra's birthday, all she wanted was a handshake from you, and that would have made it so I didn't have to buy her any gifts.
Whoops, I forgot which was which.
So for my birthday, Trip's just like, oh, hey, man, doing the handshake thing. You know, I was like, what time do you want it? I was just like, and I was like, I literally the night before I'd already bought all of Sierra's birthday gifts. Like, that doesn't help me at all, Trip. This gift was for her. I already spent the money. And he's just like, oh, I thought that was for you. You're like, fuck Sierra. She doesn't get a handshake. I don't fucking care. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. All I wanted was my boy to shake my wife's hand, and he wouldn't.
Sucks to suck, man. What can I say?
No, it's fine. Instead, you got me figures, which I appreciate. Now, we did snap you earlier. Sierra snapped you a video of me unboxing it, but there was no audio to the thing, and you asked as to why there was any audio.
Yeah.
And then Sierra's like, oh, you'll find out later in the podcast. So here it is. So the reason there's no audio is because in the box from Crunchyroll there was three things in it. I for sure understood that two of these were mine. I was like, absolutely, the two My Hero figures are for me.
Yeah.
The third one, I was like, did Trip buy this for himself and accidentally send it to me? Because I was just like, I was like, because this thing is fucking sick, but I don't think Trip would buy this for me.
I wouldn't buy it for myself.
Okay, all right, cool.
Let me be clear. I would not buy that for myself because, okay, I got you 2 My Hero figures.
Right.
I got you a Mirio figure, which fucking great, beautiful. I got
it's a late million
on stream right now. You can check it out.
If you don't know who he is, I just call him Buff Tintin because that's who he is. That's my guy. He's a good figure. I have seen this one before, so it's really sweet. And you also got me.
And I got you an Ida figure, and he's like in his running pose, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It just looks super intense. Really fun figure.
Yeah, no, it's really detailed. It even has like little mole, like little beauty mark he has like on his face and stuff. It looks really good.
And then finally,
the last one, which is the reason why I was like, so I was recording it, Sierra recorded the snap, and I was like laughing. I was like, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. And then she's just like, and then I said, I'll just bring it up on the pod. And that's why she sent me with no audio. She's like, oh, you guys talk about it. Anyway, so the last
one. Yeah.
Is this fucking big ass, dope ass,
huge
metal
Garurumon. Now, I saw this and was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I saw that you had to symbol it, and I was like, yeah, I would never do that, but I think Juan likes that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's what I just like. I was like, this looks sick as fuck. And I was like, I do like Metal Garurumon a lot, but Trip for sure likes Digimon a lot more than I do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But
so in my head, I was just like, he must have bought me the 2 My Hero figures, and then like while he was there shopping, he bought himself something, and it just went in the same box. And I was just like, cool.
I wouldn't do that.
If he fucking wants it, he come pick it up at my house.
Nope, that is 100% all yours.
Yeah, so it's really
so have
cool.
fun putting that together.
I haven't opened them yet. I wanted to wait till we were done, but yeah, I've slowly amassed a collection of a lot of My Hero figures. I got a Deku, a Bakugo. I got a Froppy, and then a Eraserhead. I think you gave me, so the Froppy was a gift from your father.
Yeah, more or less.
I bought him that figure. Your dad bought you that figure, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna keep Juan's, and you gave me the one your dad gave you. So like, cool, gift. And then who gave me the other ones? Did you give me Bakugo and Deku? I don't remember.
Maybe.
But I know that the Eraserhead was given. Josh gave it to me for Christmas last year. So yeah, man, I think the only figures that I don't have that are probably out there are like Red Riot, and then I think there's
like bad guys like Toga. And
there's a Toga figure. Probably
yeah. I mean, she's she just looks basic, whatever, doing like a little like fists close to her mouth kind of thing. Probably.
I still haven't seen them. I think all the figures I had. Maybe the Lemillion one is the simple one, but all the other ones I have for My Hero are very action
shots,
very like I have not seen, at least not I physically myself, seen a dope All Might figure like anywhere for me to buy.
I feel like at some point they're going to make a super sick one where he's doing a huge punch and it's going to be like $200.
I want a really sick one where he's like, half All Might, half,
half skinny.
Like he's like melting kind of thing, like that would be such a sick figure. Yeah. If it exists, I have not seen it. But I would for sure want to buy that. So that was, thanks for the gifts. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
A lot of love. Let's see what else. Yeah, because that's essentially birthday. Like we said, sushi, some gifts and stuff, clothes, Fall Guys. We tried really hard to get me a win for my birthday in Fall Guys. We were not successful.
I think we went until like 1 a.m.
And we're like, dude, it's really late. We can't fucking keep going. But
I had work the next day, and I was like, "Fuck it, it's your birthday."
but that being said, we did play some more Fall Guys later in the week before we recorded, and this boy got 2 crowns. Hey! So I was 2 crowns short of getting the banana head from my friend Pedro, right? Mm-hmm. And Sierra really wanted it. It's like, we gotta fucking get this. So we played. We played a lot, dude. We played so much.
I know, and it was 100% all worth it.
Yeah. The first one, we were like, I think the first crown we won, it was Royal Fumble. Both of them were Royal Fumble, but the first one was Royal Fumble. I was like, fucking awesome. Trip because Trip's really good at Royal Fumble. So I was just like, just hold on to the fucking tail and then give it to me at the very end. And you did a really good job.
That don't know, it's kind of like keep away or tag of some sort.
It's like, and so Trip loses the tail and he corrals the guy in my direction. I cut him off and I grab the tail and then you just start grabbing him.
Stay away from my friend.
Yeah, like people that come to me and like I got it. It was so fucking great. I wanted to yell so bad, but Sierra was asleep. I was like, gotta be quiet.
I heard your like excitement. Oh, we did it. You know, one of those. Oh.
And then
it's just closed. You're making sounds.
I think it was literally last night we played again. We were up. I was like, we were really tired, man. Like we've been playing with Courtney, Isaiah. Like we'd all been taking turns with you. Kyle was supposed to play, but he dipped out because he was tired. Yeah, he's peopled out. But it was just you, me. We weren't up too late, but I was tired, dude. Like I feel like
I was burnt out yesterday. After all that crunching, dude, we did a lot of Crunchyroll. It wears on you.
I was telling Sia that there was like some like rounds. I feel like where we were just like, especially me, it was just
both
fucking up. I was just like, dude, out round one,
I was doing so bad.
You know, like games that we usually slaughter, and like there was times where like we were just on the mics and we just wouldn't say anything. It was just like the redemption, cool fall ball, and I was just like, dude. And then you finally said it, you're like, because I was like, dude, I'm gonna go to sleep, and you're like, hey man, this is the last one. I was like, all right, bet last one, and we won. It was Royal Fumble again. This one was
all worth it.
This one I had to work a little bit harder in because we were playing with some competitive grabby boys, and there was like a cluster.
Intense.
I literally grabbed the tail. I think like 5 seconds left, and I was just like, just run. Second crown, acquire the helmet. The helmet, the banana head, and it was good. He put some stripy pants on. I played one more round after he went to bed, and I was just like, all right, let's see.
You gotta show it off.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta wear it. I want to play in it, and test the boy out. I made it to like round 4, and I was just like, and it was a team game. I was like, well, fucking, I lost. I was like, it's not worth. It was we played a Jinx too in that game. I was so happy.
Oh, like, literally, shit! You played a round 2 Jinx, yeah.
Yeah, the time you left. The very next game, like the second round was Jinx. I was like, dude, fucking awesome. I love Jinx.
Is just that's essentially like a plague type situation.
Yeah.
One person on each team is infected, and you have to go and grab people that are uninfected to spread the disease. But it's called Jinx because you're jinxing each other, not turning each other into zombies or whatever like we all think it is.
In elementary school, we called it cootie tag. You know what I'm saying?
Big cootie tag. Yeah, that's a good PE day where it's like, we're playing cootie tag.
Ooh. So yeah, that was big news. Fucking getting those 2 dubs felt really good. Let's see what else happened. On Monday, my family came over for dinner. They came to my new place. They hadn't been here since we moved because it wasn't ready to show off. And then also like, I was like, we were trying to stay away from each other, near the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's do it. Sierra's like, she had Monday off because it was Labor Day for her, which is good. She's like, invite your family over. And then fucking madness ensues with my family. So I called them all individually because they don't all live together anymore, right? Except for my brother and my parents. But I was like, all right. And I was like, hey, I'm inviting you to dinner on Monday. And then like, yeah, sure, free food, no problem. And then as soon as I hang up the phone, these bitches start gossiping to each other. And then I see my sister on a Friday, I think, and she's just like, hey, come here, I need to talk to you for a second. I was like, is something okay? I mean, what's wrong? She's like, why are we having dinner on Monday? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, is there going to be some sort of announcement? Is something happening? What, I was just like, what do you mean? He's like, me and dad think that you're going to tell us that Sierra's pregnant on Monday. I was just like, that is absolutely not happening. I just want to eat with you guys because that's what families do together. He's like, okay, that's fine, and like they all get there, Monday. I told them all, it's like, look, it's nothing. There's no announcement. We're just all eating. That's all there is to it. Shut the fuck up. So like me and Sierra, like we're pretty cool. And then dinner's over and I was like, I'm going to fuck with them. And I was like, all right, guys, gather around. There's an announcement. Here we go. And they're always like, I was like, Sierra has lost 6 pounds with their diet. Yeah, that's the announcement. Congratulations. And people are like, oh, okay, good for her. Yeah. And I was just like, that's right, you fucking sons of bitches. I just wanted to eat with you guys because that's what families fucking do, So that was good though. It was nice to hang out with all my parents, my siblings, and their significant others. And my nephew. I didn't tell you this. I played Fall Guy with him. He came over to do tutoring with like Sierra's mom. She's teaching him how to read or whatever, helping him read. Yeah. But after we got done with that, he started playing Fortnite. He's like, hey man, come play Fall Guys with me. Like, I want to hang out with you. And he's just like, okay. And so he was bad at it. And he was just like, can we just play Fortnite? He's like, look, man, no, we're not playing Fortnite. We're playing Fall Guys. Now shut the fuck up and sit here and play with this, play with me, you know, play with your uncle. I want to play Fall Guys. And so he played a few more rounds and like, he just wasn't that great at it. And I think it's, you know, there's a learning curve too. You have to figure it out. I mean, he's great at video games, but it's like, he's never played before. And he just says, oh, can we just play Smash Bros? Like, fine, man. I'm going to finish this round. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to whoop your ass. He's just like, no, we're going to play teams. Like, no. We're either playing Fall Guys or we're playing 1-on-1 v Smash Bros. And I'm going to destroy you the whole time. He's like, fine. So we played like an hour of Smash Bros. And I did not fucking let up, dude. I wrecked this boy's shit. He was talking so much trash. I love just destroying him. He's just like, I'm pretty good. I was like, no, dude, you're garbage. You're fucking garbage. He's just like, no, man, I'm like decent. I was like, no, dude, Sierra's decent. You're trash. He's 9 years old.
That's so funny. Yeah, I know. That's the best part.
And then like
a little baby.
Yeah, like I go over to like my parents' house and my brother's there, and it's like, and they showed off because they have a little secret handshake. Did their secret handshake? I was like, oh, that's super cool. It's like, but ask him who worked his shit at fucking Smash Bros. And then he's like, hey, did you beat, you know, Juan? And he goes, no, I almost beat him once. It's like, boy, I fell on purpose. That's how bad you are. I don't let him have anything. Any game I play with him was like, no, you're a child, but I was also a child at one point, and I was way better than you. You just need to get good.
This is what you can become.
Look at me.
Just read your books, kid, and then you could become this good.
So yeah, that was just cool. I don't hang out with my nephew all that often. You know, because my sister always has him doing stuff like soccer or like football or like just stuff to be busy. So it's like they're also trying to limit his, you know, screen time. So it's like, hey, come over to my house and watch movies and play video games because that's all I do, you know. With him, I don't want to fucking talk to him. Yeah,
I'm not talking to a child. Are you kidding me?
Last thing that happened, did the fantasy football draft. I know that everybody likes to know what my standings is.
Curious.
Every week people want to know how I'm doing. So the fantasy football season starts this week, I think. The first game I think is on Thursday. I drafted first. I think I did okay. I'm not like super stoked with my team. But I'm also, I think I've talked to you about this in the past. I'm okay with not doing amazing anymore because I've already won. Like I already won last season. I feel like I've done my thing. So if I never win again, I don't care.
Chilling with the homies now.
Yeah, just having something to do with my friends. That I also don't get to hang out with all too much. Kind of like Fall Guys. Like if I never win another Fall Guys round, like it's fine. I won those times. Who cares?
Right.
So yeah,
but you will win more.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm getting better.
We gotta get you a win in season 2, baby.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't want to talk too much about fantasy because nothing's happened yet.
It's true.
I'll let you guys know next week on how my team's doing. It usually start pretty bad, and then I get pretty good during the midseason, and then hopefully make the playoffs. But I don't know why it is, Trip, but every year, the first person I always play is Matt. Matt's always my first competition, and this fucker always beats me week 1, and it drives me nuts. So I was like, lo and behold, this week my matchup is with Matt. I was like, God fucking damn it. If I lose to Matt again, I'm just going to... I'm going to kill him. I don't know. I just can't take it anymore.
Because he sees it and he's like, Juan, an easy first match win.
It's like 3 seasons in a row I've played him first and he beats me. And it kills me because he gets in his head bragging rights for the rest of the season. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I am, 1-12 or whatever, but I beat you week 1. I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, I was like, I fucking hate you.
Just tainting your record.
It bums me out because he doesn't care. He's like, I don't care if you won fucking, I beat you week 1. Anyways, that's all I have to talk about. Yeah. What about you, man? What have you been doing? I haven't watched, by the way, I don't think any anime. Not even not even God of High School. Fuck, I should have watched that.
I don't know. Didn't I text you?
No, we talked about it over something, and you're just like,
oh yeah, you gotta check out that new whatever.
And then I forgot. Instead, I read My Hero.
Hey, you're caught up with My Hero.
No, I think I'm still a chapter behind.
Hey, you're still a chapter behind on My Hero, but that's almost caught up.
Yeah,
but the Millions still doing good?
Yeah, fucking Buff Tintin's fine. No, shit is popping off though. I know that Kyle Partlow was like frothing at the mouth. He's like, dude, you have to read this. I have to talk to somebody about this. Like, give me a second. I'll go read these chapters. And then I saw Isaiah at family dinner. He was like, oh my God, it's Sunday. The new chapter's out. And he just pulls out his phone and starts reading it right there. I was just like,
that's how you do it, man.
I was just like, this guy got some problem. And I'm just like, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. I'm having a good time.
I mean, yeah, that's the way it should be. Unless you have to keep up for a podcast every week or something. Like,
not us.
You have to watch these shows. Oh, speaking of, next week, why don't we do Children of the Sea?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because Made in Abyss isn't out until like 8 days from now. So
okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
What have you been up to, man? Talk to me.
My life is full of Crunchyroll. And that's about it, to be honest. Like, you already told all the great Fall Guys stories.
I did. I'm sorry.
It's been fun. No, there's nothing to apologize for.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I just keep playing it and keep being surprised at how much fun I'm still having with it. That's just a consistent thing. Just, I'm still having fun. Okay, cool.
And we're mostly playing on PlayStation. Like,
yeah.
you do play PC, but you prefer, not you prefer, I guess you just doing PlayStation because that's where we're at right now, right?
Well, as of right now, I very much prefer PlayStation because there are tons of hackers on PC. It's a problem where it's pointless. It's not fun. And as soon as I see one, I back out. Like, that's as fast as...
Oh, you just drop it, huh?
Yeah, because, I mean, you could try to eliminate them, but honestly, it's just... Why would you spend all this time playing if it's not going to be a fair game? I want to beat people fair and square. I want to get in the last round with a bunch of talented people, and I don't care if I win or not. I just want to, like, have fun and have a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what
but
you're
if
saying.
It's just me and a bunch of other people running and then suddenly the game ends and none of us even got close, like, that's not fun.
You know what's pretty funny is that I'm not a huge Reddit user. I know you are. Like, you're just but one Reddit thing I have been getting a lot of, like, emails to, and I guess it's to keep clicking them. They just keep, like, Reddit sends me notifications and stuff or whatever.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you don't get Reddit.
I've never in my life.
Check your emails; they're probably there. I guess you could probably turn it off.
Not. Yeah, I probably turned it off immediately when I signed up like 7-8 years ago.
I don't mind it. I think it's pretty interesting. So anyways, that's how I got to it. Like, I get an email and it's just like, it'll just say like Fall Guys stuff. I'm like, cool. So I just go to the Fall Guys thing. But my favorite thing, it's funny memes, people doing crazy hacks or shit being broken or whatever. But my favorite one I saw, I think yesterday, the day before, was two guys were at the end of a whirly gig and then they just started like chopping it up, like, or slime climb or something. They were like having a good time doing things like, some taunts back and forth. Like, he's like, me and this guy became friends. And then they kept playing and it was the final two for Jump. Was it Jump?
Yeah. Jump Club? Jump Showdown.
Yeah. And it was just the two of them. And then I think the guys like recognized, oh shit, it's the guy from before. And that guy's like started like, taunting, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And then he very clearly just kills himself, giving the guy dives. Yeah, giving the guy his first win ever. He goes like, I fucking love this community. I was like, that is really nice. He's like, yeah, fuck it, give it to the guy. It's like, that's really sweet.
I also saw another one which was pretty fun of I think it was on Seesaw. Maybe it was on something else. But there was one guy who got to the finish line and then instead of going in, he just started spinning around in circles a bunch, and then somebody else came up and taunted once, and then started spinning. And they had like 5 people all spinning at the finish line. Like, people were trying to go in, and they would bump into a couple of people before they could get through to the finish line. And some guy ruined everything. Some fucking hot dog came up and started grabbing everyone, so it stopped their spins. And then they all got tired and went in. Fuck hot dogs.
Yeah, man.
Fuck you weenies.
I'm not a fan of the hot dogs. I'm not a fan of hot dogs. I'm not a fan of wolves.
Pigeons.
Pigeons are pretty bad. I like chickens, though. Chickens are pretty cool.
They grab me a lot. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? It turns out that I don't like anyone.
Anyone? I like soda can boys. Soda can boys are pretty cool. I never fucked with soda can.
You know what? For the most part, yeah, soda can boys are pretty fucking cool.
They're pretty on the straight and narrow. They're like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time, kind of thing. I was like, yeah, man, that's what's up.
I'm all about that. Banana boys, don't support them. Like, as much as I like being a banana boy,
we get a bad rap, right? We were like, these fucking nanners.
Fuck those guys. Yeah, game's fun. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I played a little bit of Grim Dawn with Kyle yesterday as well, which is kind of Diablo style, like top down casting a bunch of magic. You have a huge tree of skills and abilities to choose from, and you get all kinds of loot from doing everything. Anyways, been playing that with Kyle over the course of like a few months now, just slowly playing it. It's fun. I guess we're in post game now, so we're doing DLC and just extra shit that they added on after the main game. And it's fun. Chill time. Wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people unless you really like Diablo or Path of Exile type games, you know. It's a good time. It's, you know, nothing special, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe there's something else to it that they do really well that I just don't understand. But for me, it's just like, me and all of my pets are going to go in and flame everything and then lightning everything. And my crow's going to heal us while my hellhound's going to just damage everything. I don't know. It's fine. It's whatever. It's shitty. I hate it. It's the worst game I've ever played.
Path of what you said? No.
Grim Dawn.
Grim Dawn. You said it's okay. Grim Dawn. Yeah. What kind of game is Diablo? There's a word for it, right? Diablo.
It's a dungeon looter, I guess, but it's also an isometric. I don't know, like bird's eye kind of.
I don't know,
I don't
man.
know if there's it's an action RPG.
It's a Castlevania, you know.
It's not a Castlevania.
it's a button masher couch, couch game. What do they call those? What are the games
couch co-op?
Couch co-op. That's what it's called. Yeah, which is you and your boys. Like, what's that one with the knights? Something. Castle Crashers. Nailed it. Fuck yeah. I know video games. I'm a gamer, bro. Deep down.
You did play that on a...
I did so poorly.
I know.
Dude, I didn't know which one I was. It was hard. For my college, we had a live stream to like get money for like the major and stuff, you know, people would donate, and I agreed to play Castle Crashers, and I'd never played before, and no one gave me a tutorial, so I was just like really fucking having a shit time, and like you and Sierra watching, and you're just like, he's so bad. I was like, yeah, this is not the right time to play this game, especially with people who've already played it so many times.
It was cracking me up though, because I've also played the game a lot. I've beaten it a few times. I got almost all the way through it on the hardcore difficulty, where you just need to be max level the whole time, and it's not even fun.
It's not even a good time.
Not at all. It's horrible. I almost beat that, but nobody else would help me because it's not fun at all. So while I had like 3 maxed characters just in case my friends wanted to come over and help me.
You're just sitting there with the controllers like, does anybody want to play? Like, no,
I just love it. I love it so much. I'm like, I want to get everything in it because I love it so much. But then it's not fun. Like these days, I would never do that. But I was like 18 at the time, and
you were young, dumb, sexy, you know.
It's a fantastic game. I absolutely love it, and we should for sure play it any time that you want to play it.
Yeah, from the beginning.
And I'll do it very casually.
Yes,
I'm not going to push you into it and force you to do anything special. But there are for sure some things that you should know when you're getting into it.
Didn't know what the fuck I was doing. That was horrible.
Like, you get more experience depending on how many times you hit something. So when you hit something, you get like 1 experience or whatever. So instead of going into strength where you hit things less, if you go into agility and you hit things more, you get to level up faster.
Damn.
Or you can just, so different things really emphasize different styles of gameplay, and that one allows you to do as many different styles as possible faster. Plus, you're able to just like fly around the screen and hit everything before anyone else, steal all the experience. The more you know.
Yeah, stay away from drugs. The more you know.
Absolutely. I don't know. I didn't do shit other than that, man. I watched Crunchyroll Expo. I watched some TV stuff. So I have decided that Lovecraft Country is probably my favorite show of the year.
Okay, I thought you were going to say ever, because I'm pretty sure your favorite show ever is She-Ra, because you told me about it, how much you love it.
I would never say that show is in my favorite shows, but it's in my favorite animated shows.
Ooh, okay, this fucking guy over here. Favorite show ever. Is it still Better Call Saul? Like, would you say that's like your favorite show?
So fucking good. No, I don't know what my favorite show ever is. Probably some kind of a comedy. Probably an anime, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably
Trigun.
The best show, the best live action show ever. Trigun. No, I think maybe like 2 years ago, you would have asked me like what my favorite show was, and I would have like without a doubt been like Breaking Bad. Like you know, just kind of
Breaking Bad's so good.
Just a go-to. And I think for a long time it might have been my favorite show. Since then, I really liked fucking Atlanta. But is it my favorite show? I don't think so.
Good. I don't think I would put it up in a favorite.
Nah, I like it a lot though. I don't know. I guess I got to think about it. Thank you for asking me what my favorite show was. How can I make it so we talk about me instead of you? It is still my birthday month, you know, no big deal.
You get a whole month?
No, I was talking to Sarah about this. Like, I'm not a fan of that. It's my birthday weekend. It's my birthday, you know, month or whatever. I also am not a fan of people that do shit like, it's our 2-week anniversary. It's our 3-month anniversary. It's our 6. Like, shut the fuck up. You do a year. If you last a year, celebrate it, you know? If you last 12 months, I don't give a shit. Keep that shit to yourself.
This is actually our 4.5 year anniversary of doing the podcast.
Oh my God, it's 4.5. I don't give a fuck. Hit me up at fucking 5, dog.
For real though, those like solid dates, half birthdays. I don't get that shit. Like, get that
I hate
out
that
of here.
shit. Yeah.
That. But yeah, no idea what my favorite show is. I guess because I've bought a lot of stuff, so it's got to be one of the ones I bought, right? But then I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't buy any Breaking Bad, but that shit was so good.
Probably BoJack. Is that like up there in your favorites?
BoJack is for sure up there. It is in my like top 5 easily.
Yeah.
Would you like Horseman? Ugh.
Would you include that in like not try to segregate it to be like just animated shows, like just shows in general?
Yeah, no, that's top 5 shows in general.
Okay, yeah,
for sure up there.
It's a good show, man. It's a good show.
That one just hit a lot of right notes for me.
Your dad died. Got a churro. It's so good.
It's great, dude.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, so my opinion on She-Ra, since I just finished it, is it does what it wants to do very well, but I think that there could have been some other things that it would have been able to do if it set it up earlier. Instead, what we get is a show that's a lot about friendship, and it doesn't focus so much on the difficult situations in the characters' lives, like all the inner turmoil. It focuses on it for a while, but the resolution it doesn't wrap up their feelings in a clean way to me. It's just like, there's this problem, and then eventually it hits this turning point where it's like, all right, solved. And there's like no ongoing work with that issue, you know?
The resolution isn't resolution-y enough for you.
Yeah, like Zuko decided he was good in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and motherfucker had a full-on panic attack. He got sick for like a month.
Yeah.
And then he came out being super peaceful, and he still wound up being a bad guy for the rest of that season. Like,
for that arc, at least, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he turned a new leaf, and then he fell back to the dark side. And I love when he comes back, like, hello, Zuko here. You know, it's like, dude, no one fucking likes you. You've been hunting this guy down for the last 5 years or whatever. I don't know, no less than that. But it's ridiculous. Yeah, I get that. It's like, it's well developed, it's well thought out. It's not just like a snap and everything's okay.
So yeah, I mean, when you have other shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and since I did just recently finish The Legend of Korra as well, She-Ra definitely didn't want to get into the darker areas that Legend of Korra wanted to get into, but they did decide to go into different mental health issues and just like different depressions and anxieties and issues you can face.
Kind of like Steven Universe, or like a little deeper than that?
A little less deep than that.
Okay, less deep than that. Okay.
So Steven Universe went really hard on like, you believe in yourself, here are the problems, especially with Steven Universe Future. Pushing away those problems, trying to remain like positive. It didn't really go over any of that. Like, things just kind of happen in a very, this is appropriate for what this character would do in a redemption arc type thing, or like
the redemption.
I don't know, the redemption. But yeah, there were a lot of moments that were like, oh, this could have been a lot more powerful, but it just wasn't. I also had a fantastic time with it, and I absolutely loved it.
What's the age limit for that age group for that, you think?
Like, I don't know.
Like 6 years old?
Is there
too
a
young?
cutoff? I'm saying like maybe like 8 years old
and up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like clearly you would lose some things, but that's what happens with kids shows and family movies in general, is that it's not just for the kids, it's for the family. It has a little bit of everything. But it was very it might seem too childish to somebody that wants to like act older, you know?
Like us.
So I don't I don't know. When I was like 10 or 11, I wanted to do cool stuff and I wanted to be more adult. So I started getting away from cartoons and whatnot.
How old were you when you did this?
Like 10 or 11, probably.
Jesus, dude. Yeah. No, man. I was like holding on to that shit, bro. I was like, come on, man. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Let's get it. Oh, yeah.
No, I needed to get the fuck out of there. I was on Newgrounds. I found out that they made more like edgy animation that wasn't for kids anymore.
You were a bad boy.
So I was like, all right. Yeah, more or less. I knew how to get on my AOL dial-up without my mommy knowing. As I'm like, error. Nobody can hear me. It's fine. Error. Yeah. She-Ra was good. I watched a little bit of Trigun while I was playing some Fall Guys.
Of course you did.
Watched a few episodes of that. It was a great time.
I don't get how you can watch something and still play Fall Guys. How does that make sense?
I know every part of Trigun.
So you're not, you're not even watching, you're listening to it.
For the most part, but I like when I finish a round, there's still like a minute or two before the next one starts, because you wait for everyone to qualify and then you wait for it to load, and I'm like watching during those times, and then I'm getting back into Fall Guy and I'm like cherry banana looking over it. Trigun.
So you're watching again Trigun like a minute at a time, every like 3 minutes. You're like, oh, cool. All right, nice.
Yeah, but Wolfwood's in it now, so that's cool. I'm a Wolfwood man.
Is that the priest guy?
Yeah.
Nailed it. I know Trigun, bro. Fuck out of here.
I mean, there are 4 characters. There's 5 if you count a villain.
Here we go. Character Trigun. Here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Priest guy. Trigun. Obviously, spiky hair dude. Duh.
Yeah, I know. You're just making a bit.
Yeah. Big chick. Little chick.
Yep.
Trigun's brother.
Boom. Those are the 5.
5 guys.
But there are some better characters, but you do have the 4 main characters that stay throughout the whole series. You have the main villain, who's hardly even there. He's not even mentioned until like halfway through the show. And then you've got Legato Blue Summers, who is the best villain of all time, with the sickest name of all time. I've said it, and every time you're like, that name's so fucking
That's such a good name, dude. Legato Blue Summers.
Legato Blue Summers, yeah.
I'm going to name my son that.
Man, I don't remember the name of the guy. It's like Valdi the Horn Freak or some shit like that. I saw somebody cosplay as him once, and he was playing all the Trigun songs on his saxophone. It was so sick.
I just want to say real quick, Legati Blue Summers, fucking baddie, my guy. This guy is hot AF.
So cool. He is so rad. He doesn't talk. He uses mind control, and he like ruins Vash's entire life, and he mind controls a whole town to kill themselves.
I bet he ruined my life.
Sick. Oh yeah.
What was the name of that other guy that you said looked completely different in the manga than you did in the show? He had like a wild ass name. I'll look it up.
There are a lot of them. There's the 9 Lives, whatever his name was. I think he was like actually 9 dwarves. But I think that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah. In the show, he was a robot that just like didn't die.
Yeah, Gray the 9 Lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that for sure.
All stacked up on top of each other.
I love that. Fucking one of my favorite episodes. I think
you should read the manga.
I think it might even be the first episodes of fucking the one with the kids in the thing. I'm watching it. They do mysteries. What's it called?
Stranger Things? What are you talking about?
No, it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. Something.
Oh, Gravity Falls.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
One of the first episodes of Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
Is Mabel dating who I think Dipper thinks is a zombie, but it turns out to be like gnomes in one like a hoodie or whatever. Yeah. God, I fucking love that. It's so funny.
It's a great show. I had such a good time with Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
Although that one was just a fun time to me, that wasn't like a long lasting like.
Yeah, it's not like deep or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I want to watch Infinity Train soon. That'd be
fucking me too, my guy.
Anyways, She-Ra was good. Lovecraft Country, best show of the year.
That's what we were talking about.
Lovecraft Country. I know. Watched a little bit of Trigun, and now let's get into like real anime that I actually watched. Right. So we got the Misfit of Demon King Academy. Still, honestly, don't really give a fuck. It's all right. They're doing like battles with other schools now, and the battles in the show are essentially you have your own base, your own castle place, and then you just shoot at the other castle place using magic. And they did that, but the enemy was surrounded by holy water, so they couldn't use their demon magic to get in. So then the Demon King came and was just like, what if we just got rid of all the holy water? And then just fucking got rid of all the water, and then they won. So it's a show that doesn't surprise you ever. It looks good. It's fun-ish. Solid fun-ish. Digimon's doing some big stuff lately.
What episode do you think you're on? 12? Okay.
12? I don't know.
There's 12 out. That's the
12 then. 12.
Okay. You're caught up then.
Yeah, so we actually just got a new outro. I was like, is this a new intro? I don't know. No, this is the same intro. But some things feel like it's like different. I couldn't tell. Mm-hmm. It might be a new intro. It might not be. I didn't go back to like compare it. But we for sure got a new outro. And it's popping off like crazy. It's a wild as fuck outro. It goes hard. I'm telling you to watch it.
Okay, I'll go check it out. Yeah, for sure.
And in the outro, they have TK, which I don't know his name in Japanese, whatever it's supposed to be, but it's Matt's younger brother who has Patamon. But they'll get around to that whenever. We, in the last episode, got Mega Kabuterimon, who is, instead of being called Mega Kabuterimon, he's called like Atler Kabuterimon or something like that. Alter? Atler? One of those.
Mega Kabuterimon. I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a big old Hercules beetle that flies around.
I have seen that one. Okay.
Yeah, you know that one.
Yeah. So he's
next
got a different
up, we're
name,
going to
though.
get Zeus Mod, which is something else in Japanese. It's like Zudamon. Something. Ikakumon turns into that. So the big woolly mammoth-y type polar bear monster turns into a giant Bowser motherfucker with a huge hammer, and he just commands the sea, more or less.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, cool. So we're gonna get that next episode.
Looks like TK's name in Japanese is Toru Kitakjima. They just call him TK.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, actually, that's wrong. This is somebody else. This is the one I want to look at. His name is Takuru Takashi. Huh, that's weird. He's got just two. His first name and last name start with a T. Okay. I don't know why they call him TK.
Probably because they abbreviated his name to be like
Takuru TK.
Yeah.
Dope.
And Ko. So
that's dope.
TK. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that was a fun little time. What else is on Crunchyroll? Girlfriend time. Mm-hmm. Love it. Rent a Girlfriend has been just fun. Great time. I don't remember the latest episode, honestly, but I remember enjoying it just as much as the rest. We have found out that they could be more candid about their relationship out in public now. That's pretty much it. I don't think any special stuff happened that was like, oh, shit. They're just kind of testing the limits of their relationship with the new girl and just figuring out that situation. Right? That's all it was. And then I think it's just the God of High School left on Crunchyroll, which I watched 2 episodes this week. One of them was like leading up to a big fight thing. And then this latest one, I told you, I don't even know how to explain it. Essentially, a cult is summoning a giant sword monster from the sky to destroy the earth, I think. But then there's like a separate section of dudes playing drums and smoking that wound up fighting against it by summoning a giant arm creature to come and bite the sword and destroy it. Mm-hmm. And this is all happening while our main characters are doing the God of High School tournament, where they're fighting each other, and Jin Mori is fighting his cousin or whatever.
Is it the dude with the gray outfit?
The dude with the hoodie.
Not his cousin. Okay, but
or whatever, man.
it's someone that knows his grandpa, and like his grandpa and that guy's grandpa or whatever fought together in some sort of war or special forces or whatever. But yeah, the other tiger cub maybe.
Exactly.
Yes. His cousin or whatever.
Yeah, his cousin or whatever. Why do I have to explain it twice?
It almost sounds like there's two different animes happening right there. Like,
that's the thing. Like, this whole section is going on while there's a fight between our main character and his new friend. And essentially his new friend is teaching him how to fight.
Yeah. I think I saw
while
a clip of
he's
that.
getting his ass kicked, and it's all weird. It's fun. It's I saw that clip as well at Crunchyroll Expo, and I was like, cool, well, I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, when I watch it, yeah.
Which is why I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to tell you exactly what happens, because if you didn't see that Crunchyroll clip, you're way too far behind.
No, I saw that.
That was it for the Crunch. Crunch is all done. Funimation, Lapis Relights. We are still trying to get all the homies re-inspired to be musicians and to get together and do their dumbass concerts that I love to watch. So that's it. They're still working on it. They're figuring out more about the royal family. They had to arrange a meeting, and it was going to take 3 days. So this last episode was this stealthing into the castle in order to go hang out with their friend and convince her to get back into singing and fuck the school. We don't need the school. We'll do magic on our own time. Mm-hmm. That was that whole episode. Super chill time. Super fun time. Millionaire Detective Balance Unlimited. Fantastic, amazing show. Yeah, I don't know. That one's more of a... It's gotten into a plot line that feels very, like, over the top, and I'm having a good time with it. Still looks fantastic. Every part of it is enjoyable to me. But yeah, we're finally getting into like what the actual plot of the show is versus the beginning where it was just like, all right, well, this guy is joining the case. He has a bunch of money. Oh, look how goofy he is. He doesn't even know how to eat commoners' food. Now we're into the like, all right, so this whole situation was set up by this person, and it turns out that there's a giant global espionage. Like, it's turned into a whole bunch more stuff, which is a lot of fun. Highly recommended to people. It's just over the top action comedy sequences, lots of fun music, the best outro of the season by far, in my opinion. I love it. In your
opinion.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Then Appare Ranman, dog. It's so good. I know you're not caught up yet.
Are they still racing?
Yeah, the last episode was, hey, we're just going to chill out, and then we're going to get back into the race. And then they instead get, like, they run into Gil the Snake.
Oh, nice.
Or whatever. Gil the Butcher.
Gil the Butcher, I think.
Snake Man, whatever. Yeah, they run into him. He holds up a train. He, like, destroys all their vehicles. Who knows what's going to happen next?
How you going to fucking race with...
I know. But there's still more in the episode, so even though the vehicles are destroyed and that's spoiled for you, like, there's still definitely some more shit going on. And I think you're really going to like the next episode, Juan. You're going to have a great time with it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Is that it for Funimation? Am I only watching 3 things on there?
Yes.
All right. We're all done. That's all the anime I've been watching. I started reading To Your Eternity. Yes, that's what it's called, which is the manga by the Silent Voice original author. I haven't read much. I've read like 20 or so pages. It seems really interesting, and I want to check out more. Essentially, this orb gets sent down from space from some kind of a different being. Maybe it is a different being that sent it down somehow. Anyways, it replicates the first thing that it sees, which it kills this dog, and it replicates the dog. And then it goes to the owner, and it's kind of just learning about the world and taking it all in. It's absorbing all the information that it can. That's the overall plot of the beginning of that. I imagine it's going to get a lot darker and a lot crazier. there's also a trailer for season 1 of it that came out a couple of days ago. So I am pretty excited about seeing that show, but I didn't realize. I guess I did realize it was going to become a show because I saw a key visual like forever ago. I think probably around Anime Expo. Are you looking it up?
No, I'm trying to find some. No, I am listening to you. You're talking about stuff. You're talking about the we talked about this before.
I don't care if you're listening.
No, you mentioned it to me. You mentioned it to me about the silent voice, but I haven't seen anything about it. What I'm trying to figure out is if this guy really is named Gil the Butcher, because I don't think he is, but that's what we've been calling him for like weeks now.
Well, that's what the main two guys, the like bad boys, were saying. Like, this motherfucker's Gil the Butcher.
Yeah, I think his name is Gil T. Cigar.
Yeah, Guilty Cigar. Yeah.
Huh.
And he is, you know what? That's all I'm going to say. Guilty Cigar.
Don't spoil with it, man.
I'm trying not to, but I might. Just test me, bud. Yeah, very, very fun time with all of those shows, but I have to say that Digimon is just a nostalgic time, and the Misfit of Demon King Academy is really just like, I'm looking at pretty colors and fights.
Yeah.
It's got jokes here and there, but they don't land for me that well. And I keep thinking about Great Pretender. If you guys haven't watched Great Pretender yet, stop. Just get the fuck out there and watch Great Pretender. Fantastic anime. One of the best I've seen in a while.
I saw an artist I like on Instagram, and they posted on their story, and they're just like, I know like this might not be like the most like popular, kind of like opinion or whatever. And I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to unfollow this person? And it's just like, but this show's the fucking best thing. I was like, okay, cool. All right. They really had me going there. It's like, because there's nothing wrong with that show. It's great.
Such a fun time. Yeah, I think that's all the catching up that I've got to do with you.
Cool,
Want to talk about some news stuff?
Hit me with some news.
All right. So first off, people that were super into Tower of God's soundtrack, which I thought was pretty good.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, the original soundtrack is going to release on October 16th, and you could also get it in a vinyl if you're a vinyl collector. So pretty big shit.
I might just have to buy that for Ryan. He has a vinyl collection. Like, here you go, man, and like have him like not know anything about.
This? Like, don't worry about it. Just check it out.
So yeah, shut the fuck up. You like vinyl, don't you? It's fucking vinyl.
This is vinyl. Just listen.
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen is going to air October 2nd. So we're getting announcements of when shows are going to officially start airing for this next season. So that'll be cool.
Okay.
Do you remember Jujutsu Kaisen at all? Or
I do not. Oh, hold on. Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, this is the one with the like, do they kill spirits or something like that? Or like it's like spooky looking?
Yeah, it's like spooky looking.
This is supposed to come out when again? August?
October 2nd. Sorry, I'm already looking ahead.
Thank God, dude. I'm really excited this. I'm not that I'm not enjoying this season of anime, but there's not too much that I'm like super hyped about. So I'm ready for there to be new stuff to be checking out. So good.
Yeah, a lot of people compare this one to Bleach and Hunter x Hunter.
Okay, cool.
So we'll see what that means. I'm excited to see. Is it wrong to try to pick up Girls in a Dungeon? Season 3 is also going to begin airing on October 2nd. It's being done by JC Staff, so same crew.
Mm-hmm, that's good. I'm excited. I watched all season 2.
2 wasn't your favorite.
It was just kind of what's the proper word? Middling. It was just like nothing really happened kind of stuff. Like I feel like season 1 ended on a real big hype, and then season 2 just like, yeah, we're here. I got a couple arcs for you. Here's another girl for the main character to be in love with, or whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever. Even though he loves the other girl. I'm excited for season 3 because I still do like the show. I think it looks really great. JC Staff can do good things sometimes.
And they can't also do
to really fuck up One Punch Man season 2. Yes.
So going on,
they have that ability.
Since we were just talking about To Your Eternity, the TV anime has been postponed to April 2021, which I am very okay with. I mean, if it's by the same guy that did a Silent Voice, which it is,
yeah,
I eagerly anticipate that the wait is worth it, and I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be so much fun. They're going for 20 episodes.
And it's also it's going to be made by Brains Base, I think.
Brains Base.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we watched something from them.
It's been a while.
Durarara and stuff?
They did do Durarara and stuff.
It's been a while since we fucked around with Brains Base. That's exciting. I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah.
That's the news, baby. Well, I guess that's not exactly the news, because I want to remind everybody that September 17th at 10 p.m. you can watch Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul, which is the sequel to the TV show. You can watch the 2 summary movies if you want to. You could rewatch the show. What I can tell you is that the summary movies have a little bit extra, but they also cut stuff out of the TV show. So if it's a refresher, you could go ahead and just watch the movies. If you're looking for getting the most out of it, you can watch the anime.
They, dude, we were hoping to be able to watch that for next week's episode, right? But it's
just we just timed it a little bit differently in our heads.
We thought it'd be out sooner, so it's not gonna. So we have another episode in the can for you guys that we're gonna be doing, but it's not gonna be that. We will eventually get around to it, but everybody should, if you've seen Made in Abyss, should be really excited to watch this because it's been out for a while, right over there.
In Japan, in the Nihon.
Yeah,
I don't remember when it came out exactly in Japan. Doesn't matter so much to me because I've read all the manga. I've just been excited to see it get animated, and let me just tell you guys, shit's gonna get wild in a totally new way. That dude that you see for the final episode of Made in Abyss is a major character in this movie. It should essentially, I don't know if it's going to tell everything, but it should be able to tell his whole story arc by the end of the movie.
Okay, cool. So I'm excited for you because I mean, it's that
I have
thing
a jumping off point. I could compare it to something.
But it's like, I'm also excited for me because I have nothing to compare it to. So
exactly. And it's been so long since you've seen Made in Abyss. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a really great, oh, that's right. This is what good anime is.
You know what? And I actually I'm not going to, obviously, personally, not the biggest fan of recap episodes, movies and stuff. So I probably just might go back and rewatch it because it's not super big for what I remember, right?
It's a season.
Right? I don't think it's that massive. So I probably go back and watch that.
It's maybe 13 at most.
Yeah, I'm so we'll have to figure it out. But yes, I am super excited for that Made in Abyss movie, and everybody should be watching it.
There's also going to be 2 bonus shorts from Merlok's daily life.
Okay.
And I believe Merlok is the little kid.
The robot boy?
Sorry, they're all little kids.
The boy that shoots fire out of his hand?
No, it's not. It's not one of the 2 main ones. It's either the maid girl.
Okay.
From the underground tree place, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, from the little canopy zone. Or it's going to be the girl in the movie.
Okay.
So, one of those 2. I can't remember their names because it's been a while since I've seen either of them.
It's been a while. Twice. Got you twice.
Dude, I know, but I've been saying it way more than that. You haven't been getting me every time.
I get you on the good ones.
You got to get me on the good ones.
I was trying to look up real quick, what's the last thing that we saw from Brains Base? Inspector. We got to see that this year. That was them.
That was a neat time. I was having a great time with that.
Yeah, I did enjoy the way it looked. Wasn't huge on the actual show, but yeah, I'm excited for these guys making that show that you're reading, that manga, To Your Eternity. Nailed it.
Hell yeah,
nailed it. All right, man. Let's do this week's topic if you're ready.
Born ready. We're gonna talk about Virtual Crunchyroll Expo 2020. Last year we got to go to Crunchyroll Expo, so we're gonna compare it to that. We got to check out Anime Expo this year. Even though it was all online, we got to check that out. So we have 2 different points of comparison for Virtual Crunchyroll Expo.
Very true.
You got to watch the first day.
So yes.
So I'm going to let you take this. I had to work on Friday, the first day that it all happened, September 4th. And then I got to watch September 5th and 6th all day. That's pretty much all I did. So,
okay. So to be okay, so here's the thing. When we were announcing a bunch of stuff about like going to watch Crunchyroll Expo, you know, the virtual one, we kept harkening people, telling people to go register, right? Like go register, go do the thing and stuff. So I was expecting...
First off, Crunchyroll didn't really exactly say what the purpose of all this was, like why you had to register. It was just like, register, maybe that's the only way that you can watch this content.
Yeah. Well, they even sent me like, I know I registered and then like I confirmed my registration. They sent me like, hey man, this is your fucking ticket. Like this is your number, bro. Don't lose it. And I was like, okay. So I wake up because the first thing that started at Crunchyroll was at 10 a.m. I for sure wasn't awake at 10 a.m. I woke up at like 10:15. I was like, fuck, I gotta watch this stuff, right? Yeah. And I was like, what do I... It wasn't very clear as to like what I needed to do. So I started looking for my fucking information. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, open the app because I downloaded the app before because that was the only way we could see the schedule. And I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to put a login. I didn't have to like fucking put any of the fucking shit they sent me. It was just like, hey, it's all here. And I was just like, oh, all right. I guess that's convenient. And I think we talked about maybe they're doing registrations for them to get like a head count or an idea of like how busy they might be for whatever reason, just to, for their stats. So registering really I don't think really mattered. I don't think, because I was able to just kind of go in without having to put in any of my information. So
I think it just must have been a way to keep track of the more interested fans.
Yeah.
That are like definitely going to be there for at least one panel that they wanted to check out.
Yeah.
That's the only purpose that I could find, is just if you register, that's a good metric for more dedicated people to Crunchyroll Expo, I guess.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it was just a number for them to be like, cool, we have 10,000 confirmed people registered that are going to be at Crunchyroll Expo at some time, right? Just something for their stats, or maybe even be like, we need to have at least these many servers running to hold anything on our platform. Because for people, obviously people who missed out didn't know, but so Anime Expo ran all their shit off YouTube and Twitch. Like all their stuff was streamed on those. So there was 2 Twitch channels and then 1 YouTube channel, and you would just kind of click back and forth. Crunchyroll had their own website, and everything was being streamed off their own like video servers or whatever, which I thought was cool. I'd like comparing that to Anime Expo. I was like, hey man, good for them. They had enough time to do that.
They also have access to all this different streaming software,
right? Because they're in the streaming industry, right? And so like I was like, in my head I was like, cool, points to Crunchyroll Expo for getting that to work. But I do understand that Anime Expo isn't actually like whatever they're called. They're like called JSP, whatever. The people actually run Anime Expo.
Yeah.
That might have been too much for them to hook up. So they're like, hey, easiest way to do is YouTube and Twitch. But I did like the fact that they had their own streaming, video stuff. So that was cool. And the first issue I had running into was actually getting to watch something. It wasn't very clear, at least on my app, as to how to get things to go. And I was like, do I click here? Do I go to the schedule? And it was like, and then there was a way to like, you click the schedule, you get the description, and then there was 2 links. Yeah. And I clicked the very bottom link because I thought it was all one link, and I went straight to the VOD, which was like, hey man, check back later. This is where stuff's going to be saved. And I was like, well, that's not what I need. And so then I saw, okay, the one above it's actually the link I need to go to. And then that shoot me over to whatever district I was either like, or whatever stage I went to.
Yeah. And that's since MySpace, I'm just going to bring that up. I learned how to make buttons. I learned how to add links to those buttons and like how to make it all look clean for you to get from one point to another. Crunchyroll's was not as clean. Essentially, it had, this is the title of the panel. This is the description of what you're going to be watching. These are the people involved with it. Watch it here, and then just had like the basic link. And then below that, like, watch the VOD here. Yeah. So it had ways to get there on Virtual Crunchyroll Expo's site. But it wasn't like you had to get all the way to the bottom to see that.
Scroll down. Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, what? I thought I had clicked the thing I wanted to watch, and then it would either take me to exactly where it would go, or I'd click it and then it would send me to like the description and then be like a play button here.
Like at the top 2, like above, maybe right below the title or whatever, like watch now, watch VOD. Like,
no, but the bottom, it was like literally like hyperlink that you would see like in a PowerPoint that I could do. And I was just like, not the cleanest thing. The way I ended up navigating through like what I wanted to see, because eventually I moved over to my computer, and it was still kind of hard to navigate through it, even on the like the computer thing. So what I would do is I would go to my phone, I would click up the schedule, and I was like scrub to see what I wanted to see. And then in the corner they had a button that said play now. And then it would show you the 4 different stages that had like, cool, this stage is playing what I want to see right now. And that's how I did it for the next 3 days. I was like, that's how I'm gonna deal with it, because I didn't really like the way it looked on the phone. It does a job. To their credit, like it absolutely. You're absolutely able to watch it.
With it, I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but it's like you were absolutely able to watch everything off your app, like, which is again very impressive for them to do. But I just like the way it looked better on the PC. I mean, the computer, and I was like, but I didn't like the way it navigated. So I was like, well, you got to make lemon out of lemonade, right? Or lemonade out of lemons. Like, I'm not gonna just be like, well, I'm not gonna watch this. Like, I'll deal with it. It wasn't the end of the world. So the first thing I got to see was the Rent-A-Girlfriend Q&A with the voice actors. Actually, all the voice actors, all the girl voice actors.
Yeah, I saw that they were all involved. Yeah, I actually watched a little bit of the VOD.
Yeah, and it was since I'd missed the first, I think like 10, 15 minutes, I was like, oh man, like I hope I can jump into it. Very seamless. The way that panel was set up is there wasn't really a host. There was just like a question that would pop onto the screen. And it would say like, what was your inspiration for this? And then it would kick it to, one of the girls, one of the voice actors answering the question. And then it would cut to the next girl answering the same question, kind of stuff. And then for a hot minute, it was just like, they would all answer the same question and then would go to the next question. And then eventually near the latter half, they started asking like more like, hey, your character, mommy, is kind of like, I was like, okay, cool. This is better because, they're being curated to the actual character, which I was like, they were good questions. Yeah. I also did like the fact that they obviously, this was pre-recorded, this wasn't live, that they were able to like get the voice actors to come in the safety of the studio or whatever, film the stuff, especially, during the coronavirus, whatever, for them to feel safe and still participate and not feel like, I don't know if they didn't look like they were scared or obligated to be there. Like they looked like they actually were having a good time, and to avoid, maybe contacting other people, or like obviously there must have been a producer there, because I think there was someone like maybe giving them like a little guidance or whatever, but they just had like a piece of paper with like a board that we're holding with like the questions on it. I was like, it's like, dude, fucking that's the way to do it. Like that way you avoid like an annoying fucking host or someone trying to like deal with a translator. There's just like, they're like talking to the translator but trying to hype up the person. It's just like, I like this. I was sitting there watching it, like, I really hope more of these panels don't have hosts and they just fucking do this, because these questions are good and I don't have to deal with fucking Chads McGee over here being like, yeah, man, my favorite. It's like, shut the fuck up. I don't care about you,
Hosts are fine. They can be like, great. They can add to it. Yeah. Depending on what it is.
Exactly. There was a really cool host that I'm going to talk about later that I'd never seen before, and I really enjoyed him. But he was in the right environment with the right group of people, like, and they were vibing off each other. And I was like, oh, nice. So I was just glad that my first panel wasn't like, I hate this because the host is a total ass.
Yeah.
So Rent-A-Girlfriend is really great. I don't really have like any like super notable things that they mentioned, because they were all very like, how did you get into the industry?
Honestly, that's my biggest issue with all of Crunchyroll Expo, is that I don't have any huge notes, any huge like, oh, hey, this was a really cool piece of information or whatever.
Right.
I just have some brief things to mention.
Exactly. I think that's how I feel too. Like a lot of my notes is like just talking about how I enjoyed the panel and not being like what the actual content of it is, because I think you and I have spoke about this before. The biggest downside I think we had from Crunchyroll, the virtual Crunchyroll Expo, was that the content wasn't the most interesting or the most entertaining, because there wasn't any huge reveals, any big premieres, anything like really massive that was like thrown out there. So it wasn't anything to really get super hyped about. It was just kind of like good times to hang out with other people that also watch anime, kind of thing.
Exactly. Because like going to an actual convention, you do have those giant premieres. It's like, it's a huge thing. Japan gets all stoked about coming over to the United States for Anime Expo, that kind of stuff. And then Crunchyroll Expo has now had like, hey, you get to watch the first episode of this show, like that nobody's ever seen
or this movie or
cool
something.
stuff.
It's like, oh, super dope. And I think, again, like, I am also like tempering my expectations when it's like, well, I do understand things are really hard right now. A lot of things are just kind of pushed back in production because of the, the state of the world. So it's like, yeah, I bet you they would have loved to have this bomb ass premiere with this super cool director, but maybe they just couldn't swing it.
Work.
So I try not to fault them too much on that, but I did really enjoy the Q&A with the Rent a Girlfriend cast, the voice acting cast, because they're having a good job, they're having a good time. And it was cool for them to be like, how do you see yourself compared to the character? How did you get this job? Like, one of my favorite ones was like, I think she was the voice for Mommy, and she said something about like, yeah, I technically did the voices for all of these girls on I think it was like a CD or DVD. You know how sometimes they'll do like the audio things. She's like, I did the voice for all of them. So when I auditioned for the voice actor, I was like, fuck, I'll play any of these bitches. I don't care.
Whoever you want to give me.
Yeah, fuck, give me any of them. I was like, cool. They also had at that point introduced the voice actor for the fourth girl, who I hadn't met yet in the anime. I don't know if she's even there. Is she in the thing yet? Yeah. So I was like, it's cool that she's. Cool that she's included. I was like, but we have not seen her yet. I did also like them all have a very similar answer as to how they feel about the main character. One of them literally said like, yeah, he's like a huge fucking loser. Like, it's like, yeah, man, the main character is a huge fucking loser. You right? So
everyone
it was cool.
Knows it. Like. It's good that it's embraced as he's a huge loser.
Yeah, he's a huge fucking loser. So so that was the Rent a Girlfriend panel. Next thing I got to watch, because the other things that were on, I was like, I'm not really fucking vibing with this, was and this is funny because I wasn't vibing with them at all. So I was like, I'll just watch this One Piece panel that like but I also
cool being able to go and check all the panels out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus in real life, you commit to one. And then you're stuck with it.
Stuck with that, yeah. So, and then you're like, I hope this is good.
Yeah, the virtual option is really nice to have, to be able to jump from panel to panel. So I'm glad that you actually brought that up, that you were like, hey, I'm not vibing with these.
Yeah,
I looked at all of them. Let's
just
go to One Piece.
I think there was two other things going on, and then like one thing was just like on a break. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go check out this One Piece thing. It was a movie, the One Piece like What If Chopper episodes. So it's like this actually the 8th. So it's an old movie. It's like the 8th One Piece movie that ever came out. It's essentially like a reimagining of like, hey, what if this would have happened, but it happened like this instead? And while I was watching it, one of the characters I really like from One Piece is actually Chopper, which is he's the reindeer guy. I'm sure you've seen him.
Yeah.
He's the doctor of the crew. And so in this movie, Nami gets sick, and there's like, well, we don't have a doctor, and I'm sitting there being like, hold on. He's like the 4th guy to join the crew. What the fuck? I was just like, and like, why is this bitch here? And why is this dude here? They're not here yet. And I like had to Google it. I was like, oh, well, it's
an alternative.
It's an alternative timeline. I was like, cool, that's cool. I was like, I felt hella dumb being like, this is wrong. This is all wrong. And I was like, if I would have took 2 seconds to look at what it meant,
Have you ever seen other anime like that? Other movies or anything?
I've never seen movies or animes or television like that. What I have seen is I've read comic books like that. A lot of like, what if Spider-Man was this, and what if the Green Goblin was that kind of stuff. When I was really into comic books, there is a new Disney Plus What If Marvel's Avengers series that's coming out, like the Marvel universe. So like one of them is like, what if Black Panther was Star-Lord? And that's actually the last, I think, voice acting that they actually have of Chadwick Boseman. He's like actually voicing that character. So like, I'm really excited to watch that. And like, so I do know that this type of like genre or like type of stories
exists. People have a huge interest. Yeah.
But I've never really like watched one, or like, besides reading like comic books, really been a part of it. So I thought it was interesting that I was like, wow, One Piece also does this. And this isn't like, I think I read that this was maybe the first of their what if, because they have maybe 2 other what ifs that happen later for One Piece shows. But I don't know, before the movie started, they also had like the voice actors for Sanji, Chopper, and Zoro, maybe someone else, talk about like, hey, what was your favorite part of the movie? What's your favorite part about being, a part of One Piece? It's massive or whatever. One of my favorite questions was like, what's your favorite, intro/outro? And they're like, dude, there's so fucking many. And I was just like, and one of the guys goes like, dude, what the fuck? Like he's like, do I have all day? And he just goes, the first one, because it was the first one. I don't know. I was just like, yeah, dude, yeah. And this This is also one of those where like there was no host. It was all, questions just that way they were given to them. And then I watched the movie and had a good time. For a movie that was made in 2008, the animation stood up. There was some a little janky like 3D stuff, but I watched almost all of it and then I had to go do something. I was like, you know what? It's okay that I don't finish this movie. I kind of trying to get where it's going to end, but I enjoyed it. And that was it. That was the One Piece thing. The next thing I got to see was the Onyx Equinox panel,
which they had one every day.
Yeah, but they did have. I think the second one might have been in Spanish, because one was
which is the one that I watched, which was pretty cool.
Did you watch it all in Spanish?
Yeah, but it had English subtitles.
Oh, subtitles. Okay, cool. I was like, I'm glad I watched the English one because I was like, I saw that there was another one the second day. I was like, maybe I should watch it on the VOD, and I was like, it's in Spanish. I already saw this, but then I watched another one when they talked about specifically about their Mesoamerican stuff. Anyways, this Onyx Equinox is a Crunchyroll original that should be coming out sometime soon. I'm gonna say I had no clue this was a thing that was gonna happen. So this was like the first time in Crunchyroll Expo that I was like, oh, actually something new that Juan doesn't know anything about. Let's see what it's about. Really? I mean, we might have mentioned it. I had no clue. It was like it's in my brain. It was like I have no knowledge of this.
Oh yeah, I've been getting excited about this one for a while.
Even though they have like they had a whole scavenger hunt thing with like QR codes and stuff. I was just like, oh, it's not an actual game. I'm not gonna play. I thought it was like a little.
No, it's just a fun little like, hey, if you're just fucking around on our website, here's some QR code things to go and find.
First scavenger hunt, yeah. So this one was hosted. I think it was hosted by two women, not just one. And then they also had the director / creator, and they had I don't know what her actual title was, but she did she might have been just a producer, because later on they invite another person to talk about Mesoamerican stuff, and they just kind of talked about, like, at least for this first Onyx Equinox panel, they talked about like, hey, what's your hopes for the show? What's it kind of about? And they showed like a clip or whatever, like a longish trailer. And as soon as they started talking about like Mesoamerican gods or whatever, I was just like, this is, because I am Mexican, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like that's something I haven't seen a lot. I've seen a lot of shows and movies and television that's about like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Viking lore or whatever, the Norse stuff. And I was like, never really the Mesoamerican stuff. And you even yourself, you're just like, dude, being from California, we for sure learned about this in school and stuff.
That shit's tight. We get to learn about it, but the rest of the world doesn't know shit about Mesoamerican culture.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see all the different gods and the different ways that it shaped kind of like the cultural belief over the years, I guess.
For sure.
There's some video games and stuff like Guacamelee that touches a little bit on it. Coco touches on some parts of that. But yeah, this is touching on a lot. And there are these two sports brothers.
Yeah, they played I don't know what the name of that game was either, but it's like the game that they played in Road to El Dorado where they hit the ball through the hoop. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. So they've always been like a part of this. They're like gods or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know about them until Indivisible. Like, I had never learned about that in my childhood, but Indivisible is a video game that I was into a while ago, where you go through like all these different cultures. It's a lot of like Indian culture and stuff, but there's one area that's like an Aztec Mayan temple, and you go down in it and you meet these two brothers and they're like, what up? We're the sports brothers. Hey, how's it going? And then they wind up dying and like being like corrupted, and their spirits are like essentially the sun and the moon. So it's like a yin and yang sports brothers thing. It was kind of cool. So I'm excited to see. Yeah. So now that I know about the sports brothers gods, I would like to see how Crunchyroll is able to make me care about them in a new way.
Yeah. So this panel was very, I'm going to say very generic. Like, it wasn't like there wasn't any like huge reveals or any like, here's a sneak peek of this specifically. I know that one of the hosts was a little kind of pushy. She was just like, tell us this and tell us that. And the director / creator was like, well, I really want people to just kind of watch the show, so I don't want to actually get too deep into that. I will say, she would say like a little things like, but honestly, like, I just want people to enjoy the show and like check it out. And then the pushy host would be like, come on, give us all the spoilers. And she's like, No, like I said, I just want people to watch the show.
Anything. Check it out when it comes out.
And okay, super cool thing also, director, female, super great. I was like, wow. And she was like talking about her passion about like wanting to bring this to the forefront. She's from Mexico. And I was just like, wow, that's wild to think that someone from Mexico is now working on this Crunchyroll show that is being, made in the United States. It's kind of anime, but like I was like, there's like,
I love all when all these different cultures just start like fusing together into this giant mess of something beautiful.
So it looks really good. The idea of it, there are scenes in the trailer that I saw. I was just like, that animation's not the cleanest. But there's also bits where I'm like, wow, that animation fucking rocks. So I am super excited for Onyx Equinox whenever it comes out. But yeah, just because of the Mesoamerican stuff, I was like, this is different. It's fresh. Hopefully it's like really good and I can like really and I really enjoy it. I just don't want it to be trash. Because I was like, this person obviously put a lot of work into it. So
it's also all going to be, it's more of a cartoon, even though we're talking about anime shit. This is more of a cartoon. It does have just English voice actors. They are not going to cast fully Spanish cast or anything. Spanish speaking cast. So, yeah, you've got some straight up white motherfuckers like Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor, who is voicing a character. Which I'm all about, man. It's I mean, got a good voice. Whatever.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, for them to cast that way. I think they talked about later in the other panel about like how true they tried to beat everything, and they were saying that like there was times where people like that in the actual crew, the staff that didn't speak Spanish. So a lot of times they would speak Spanish. And so they had to like kind of Americanize the way they would say things. Like, okay, like they would say like Quetzalcoatl, right? To make people know like what that means. Cause you can't pronounce the actual name.
How do you pronounce it in Spanish?
I can't, I don't know how to say it right. Like, right. Yeah. It's hard. It's it's obviously, Aztec Mayan culture is like, it's way before like I'm there. Like I'm not, I don't think there's any nativeness in my family. We're obviously from somewhere else because Mexico is just this huge like mixture of stuff. But the lady was saying like sometimes there would be like background artists that would like draw like a wheelbarrow or like a bucket, and she would be like, "No, these didn't exist back then. Get rid of it." Like it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna draw a beast of burden." It's like they didn't have that technology, so they was like cutting out it, like very politely being like, "Why the fuck are you drawing chickens here? I understand this is Mexico, but in this culture, they didn't fucking get chickens." I was like, "Oh, dude, that's like super like detailed." I was like, "Nice."
I love that.
I'm sure people who like really know a lot about their Mesoamerican like history and stuff would appreciate it.
Got to go on a tangent really quick because you brought it up. Parts of what they were doing were not real during that era, right?
Right.
Mulan just came out. People,
yes,
people
it did.
Clearly know it came out. The live action retelling, completely different story, and while Americans did not receive this movie very well, China didn't either, which everyone was banking on China fucking loving this movie. It turns out that they got a lot of things wrong culturally because the director and like writers are not Chinese. They're just some white motherfuckers who bastardized Chinese culture. I just thought that was really interesting that this huge thing got it wrong. Like fucking enormous. They thought they were going to make all their money from China. China was like, fuck you. You guys don't care about us. And then to go into Crunchyroll, who typically deals with Japanese animation, to have a Mesoamerican inspired cartoon coming out, they were like, we can't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Like giant corporation versus the little guy over here that's making a brand new project.
It's like we're
trying so hard, dude. I love it.
It's just super cool because like obviously we don't see a lot of that in the in pop culture. So like when you get the chance to do that and like in something you're super passionate about, it's just like I don't want to fuck this up. I want to be as true to it as I possibly can. So like I think it's super cool, and that's why I'm like stoked for Onyx Equinox. Okay, the next thing I saw was a show called a panel for X Arms, which is also another Crunchyroll original. This one was hosted. I think they had like the lead voice actor and the director. They talked about like what the show was about. Again, another very generic panel. It's about like a guy who's like it's the future, and technology super fucking wild. I think it's 2041 or something like that. But it's based off a manga that's pretty popular. And he's a technophile, I guess. So he's a afraid of technology. He's not a fan of it.
Oh, okay.
And then he gets like fucking
technophobe, I guess.
He gets in an accident and ends up like he wakes up and he's just like in a little metal thing. He's like in a can. He's like, cool. Your body doesn't exist anymore. You're now just in this conscious thing. And I think they give him like a robot body. He beats shit up or whatever. It looks interesting. The only thing that I really got was like, hey, they've announced that it for sure comes out January 2021. I was like, all right. And then
I'm thinking about the animation for that, and I just think that can be real messy.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Robots are tricky sometimes, man. If your main character's a robot, oh man.
I know that I feel like this one was more along the lines of a lot of like panels I've seen in the past where there's one guy who's like way into it and one guy who's just like, I don't fucking know. So the director wasn't, I don't think, vibing too much. They asked him a question. He's just like, I don't know. And then like they asked the voice actor guy. He's just like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Like ask me any stupid question. I would love to be a coffee maker or whatever. Cause they asked like, what thing would you like to be? I think he didn't say coffee maker. Maybe he said a Roomba. And then like the director said a drone. No, the host was a girl, and she said, "I want to be a Roomba." And I was like, "No one cares about you. Give me the next question." But yeah, that show's gonna come out in January. Next up, which was I think the last panel I finally saw on Friday, was the Rising of the Shield Hero. I didn't watch all this. This was one where I caught some of it, and they really weren't like. I don't know, man. I really like the Rising of the Shield Hero. Like it took a while for me to. It was the dip, right? It was super hype, massive dip. By the end of it, I was like, I'm in it. So I was excited because they were talking about season 2 and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was excited to see something, hear some announcement, anything, right? And the biggest announcement I got was like, hey, man, here's this brand new, never before seen visual. Here it is. And they showed it. And then there's like, Director Chan, can you tell me about this? And he's like, yeah, there's Naofumi right there. And he's doing stuff. I was like, cool. And then I think they also had like the voice actor for Raftalia and Naofumi at the very end. Not even like in person. It was just like an audio bit and like in their photo. And I was just like, oh man, they fucking couldn't make a little appearance. Bummer. So yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, like I took a lot of this with a grain of salt. Like I'm just gonna watch what I watch and hopefully it's it's something. But that was my Friday.
About that.
And I think after Friday, I was just like, okay, if the entire rest of the convention is like this, fine. Like I'm fine with it. But Saturday came around and I was just like, I am not fucking with this Saturday. And because Saturday is the day that I watched the least amount of shit. And I think you watched maybe the most on Saturday.
Yeah, I watched
because it was your first crunch. Yeah, I was like, I watched literally 2 things and I was like, no.
Yeah, man. So I started out with catching up on what I missed out on from Friday. Which I honestly just watched the Rising the Shield Hero concert because
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, Kevin Penkin did the concert, and you could actually find it on YouTube, I think, so it is saved. That soundtrack is so good, and I did not realize it while I was watching the show, and that must have been one of the elements that made it so like compelling and interesting to me that I didn't even realize like subconsciously that soundtrack has such a driving force behind it. So as soon as I listened to it, I sent it over to our buddy Kyle, and I was like, dude, you're probably going to want to use some of these in your D&D campaigns. They sound friggin' sick. They sound like amazing adventure battle songs. Enjoy it. So yeah, he's probably going to do some of that. And then I started out with my favorite title of any panel I've ever seen, Hella Big Skirts. Did you see this panel?
I did not know.
Yeah, just called Hella Big Skirts, where they kind of teach you how to make some hella big skirts, the different kinds of tricks that you do for cosplaying in order to make skirts do certain things, where they rest, depending on what kind of skirt they are, what kind of dress. And I was like, okay, this isn't for me, but I just needed to see. So
what if it was for you? What if it was like the best shit ever?
Shit. I got to get into sewing, dude. Yeah, no, it didn't hit me that way. Cosplay stuff is too hard. I am not very good with my hands, so this show was for sure not for me. yeah, so that panel, checked a little bit of that out, but then I switched over to Crunchyroll Originals Presents the Kata High School panel with creator Yeonji Park, director Sungu Park, and more.
I watched that one also.
I didn't really care about it.
I had a good time, but that's because I'm a huge bitch for Kata High School. You know, I was just like, yeah, man, just tell me anything. But this is one of those panels where it's like, the host was actually pretty good. He was actually there in person with them. I think he was one of the voice actors. Super pumped. And we get I love it whenever we in regular Anime Expo or whatever, we get like people from Japan, and some of them are just really modest and very quiet, you know. And the character designer was just like, yeah, you know, kind of really characters, not a big deal. It's whatever.
Well, they did talk about how the like pink color on the nose and the ears and whatnot. People think
which was a nice,
but it's something that sets them aside from other styles, so they wanted to keep it, and they really liked it.
Yeah, no, it's something. So that one had because that was a long panel. So it had those three guys: the director, the character designer, another guy who I think he said did a bunch of the background art, which was like that he painted that giant mural that we see the tiger dude always looking at, you know. And then we had like the singer for the intro, the singer for the outros. We also had the actual director of the creator of the webtoons. And like when we got to hear him talk, he was like, yeah, like people always ask me about the noses and the ears, and he was like, look, the easiest way to draw. It was like a very like super honest technical questions. Like, look, I have to draw a bunch of these fucking things. And the easiest way to do it is to have like a simple flat tone for their faces. Like cool. All these areas are going to be just the one color. It's like, and then I add a little bit of pink on their noses and ears to give them some sort of depth. Like that is literally it. He's like, people say they look drunk or they look like kind of sleepy or whatever. It's like, that's not it at all. It's like, he was like, I like it, you know, and it's cool that they brought it over. And I've told you in the past, like, I really fucking like their noses and their fucking ears. I'm like, yeah, man, something about it. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm fucking with that. So I thought it was super cool. And like I said, the creative, like the director of like the character design stuff, like very modest. Like the director was like, yeah, when I got told I was going to be the director of God of High School, I said, sure, can I get this specific person as my, you know, character designers, like, because I've worked with him in the past and I really like him. I respect his work a lot. And the guy's just like, oh, shucks. You know, it's like laughing through his mask. I was like, yeah, oh man, that's cool, man. It's cool that they have like a very healthy, like, work environment. And the last guy was wearing like this, they were all wearing masks for the host, but he was wearing also like this visor thing. He looked like
it was sick. Yeah.
He looked like he belonged in like some sort of like JRPG, and he had like really long hair. I was just like, these fucking guys are killing it, man.
It was rad. But yeah, not a whole lot to report from that one. Just like good vibes, a little bit of information about the show. If you're a big fan of God of High School, you would really enjoy the panel. Yeah, I like God of High School a lot. It was fun to watch. Nothing super special to say.
Yeah, nothing. And then they tried to give us like a sneak peek of episode 10, but episode 10's out now, so it's like, okay, we should give a sneak peek to like the finale or something like that. I don't know. But I'm excited for this. It's good. One question that I did like that he answered was, the director had to answer, how did he decide what to cut out? Because a lot of people are saying the pacing's way different than the manhwa or the webtoons or whatever. And he's like, look, man, we spoke with the creator and we're like, we obviously can't put all this stuff. What are the big points? What are the fights that we want to keep? We had to make the hard decisions to cut stuff. I'm like, that's cool, man. I'm glad that he was like really frank about it. Like, look, I had to make this a viable show, and if you're huge into the webtoons, like, I'm sorry, but like some things are gonna for sure get cut, and he's trying his best. Like, yeah, dude, that's awesome. I'm glad he answered it honestly. So yeah, good stuff.
For sure. Next up, I watched Yen Press. They were just announcing a bunch of different mangas that they got the rights to, and they're going to be releasing soon. They didn't give exact dates for a lot of stuff, but what I really appreciated about this is that it was a lot of people that worked at the company, and they were just in a big group video chat. And it seemed like they were all really excited and having a lot of fun. Just, it was the most positive, fun, like genuine panel that I saw. Just people vibing. So I like their presence a lot, but I didn't start writing down what they were releasing until after a couple of like big announcements that were already kind of announced or something. So I started taking notes that like they're making or they're adapting in English Solo Leveling, which is just like another isekai type thing.
Fucking video game.
But apparently it's supposed to be really fun and really good. So keep an eye out on that one. And then, do you like the Nerdy Nurse? Is another one. They described it as similar to Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? It's pretty obvious what it's going to be. It's just nerdy nurse stuff. Whatever.
Whatever.
So if you're into nerdy nurses, there you go. Love and Heart is apparently a lot like Happy Sugar Life. So if you liked that super fucked up manga and show, check that one out.
Yeah, did not like this show, but it was interesting to watch.
Days on Fez is super interesting sounding to me. I really want to check this out. It's a slice of life about live concerts. Like going to concerts and like vibing at festivals and stuff. I'm like, a manga about this. Yeah, I am interested.
I have always talked to you about like, I don't understand how music manga is a thing because you can't hear the fucking music.
Yeah.
Like, and we always talk about that fucking Scott Pilgrim bit where it's like, they give you the chords to play really loud.
Play really shitty, just play C and B a whole bunch.
And I was just like, that's really funny. But I just don't get it. Like, Kids on a Slope, like, is like, if that is a manga, like, why? Fucking Sound Euphonium, like, the music part's the best part, right? Like, I guess the creator of that show is just like, yeah, man, I want to make a music thing. I don't know anything about music, but we'll just like draw them like they're playing the most amazing music, kind of a la Piano of the Forest, where I'm just like, this shit sucks. Like, I don't fucking get it. And they're just like, no, but he's playing it very technically well. I was like, that means nothing to me. I don't fucking care.
Dude, I forgot about that show.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Next up, The Girl Without a Face.
Whoa. This
is an occult horror romance.
That sounds interesting. It's got a good name.
There's a girl who doesn't have a face. It's pretty great. A favorite for you, Virgin Road. It's based off, it is a light novel.
Still a virgin. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, it's like a murdering people isekai type thing.
What?
A girl can't be killed. It sounds crazy as fuck. So Virgin Road, man, it's probably not for me, but it's a wild time. Play It Cool, Guys is another one.
It's like a sitcom.
It's a bunch of pretty boys doing pretty boy stuff, but they're like,
nice.
Guys, be cool about this. I'm going to pick up this chick. Be cool. So it sounds like it's going to be a fun time. Then one of them is super excited about this. He read the whole series and is like a huge fan. Penguin Gentleman. So penguins become men to get to the real world, and they work at a bar.
That does sound pretty cool, man.
It sounds wild.
Hey, it's like, is there a crossover?
This shit's fucking amazing. Y'all check it out.
Is there a crossover between Penguin Gentlemen's and, hey, Play It Cool, Guys? Like, it's like, hey, it's like they're at the same bar. Like, be cool, we're penguins. Be cool.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you don't know it, but you have to read both manga. And then finally, they announced Date Alive. They're going to be adapting the manga on that, on whatever fucking Date Alive there is. So that's cool. So yeah, impressed. That was what they announced. It was a very fun panel. They all just were having a fun time, so I enjoyed watching it. Anime and Drag with Rock'em Sakura, which I also love. Rock'em Sakura. That's a cool name. I love that phrase. And dog, she dressed up like Yugi. If Yugi was like at a like Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, cool. Okay, so like the whole like
so flashy,
like Carnival, like with the big old feathers and stuff. Cool.
Yeah,
nice.
So lots of feathers coming off, and Kyle was like, "Wait, is she fucking Yu-Gi-Oh right now?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, she's Yugin hard."
She's the cool. She's the main. She's the titular character, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, so that was fun to watch that. Only a little bit of that, and then I got into the Crunchyroll Virtual Industry panel.
That one I did watch.
Yeah, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. It wasn't that good. Like it was just, I don't want to talk about that. The only thing I had to talk about it is that there was one piece of news that I literally like texted you like instantly. I heard it and there's like, cause they're just giving news about the industry, right? About the Crunchyroll stuff. And there's like, hey, you might have heard our announcement like 3 months ago about us doing this, something with these people. Like, we can give you some more information. We're going to do a loot crate, curate a loot crate box. And there's like 3 of them. And one's Anime Expo, one's this, and one's Mex. And I was like, just texted you, was like, yo, dude, fucking Loot Crate is still a thing?
Apparently.
That's what you text back. Like, apparently, like, for a hot minute, like, I think for like 2-3 years, like, everything was a Loot Crate ad. Like, every podcast I listened to, every YouTube video, everything, it was a Loot Crate ad. And then they fucking stopped, man. So I just assumed they died. But to hear that Crunchyroll's having, I mean, obviously I'm not going to get their Crunchyroll Loot Crate. Like, I don't give a fuck to be given whatever they want me to. But I was just like, that was the biggest news I took. That's how boring I felt during that panel. I was like, this is the biggest thing I heard. Loot Crate box.
Nothing super special happened. It was fine. It was fine. And then next up, I watched what you already talked about. Crunchyroll Originals presents Mesoamerica Animated on its Equinox with Sophia E. Alexander.
In Spanish.
But I was watching it in Spanish, so I got the real authentic take on it. You watched that like mushy American bullshit. I got to see the real stuff. So we don't need to go over that. It was good.
No, it was fine.
Then world building in anime. This was a fan panel. Checked it out. Well, I don't really recommend.
You didn't agree with them?
You know what, man? World building in anime is weird because they were talking about a lot of different worlds. They were talking about like what each show does, and I disagreed almost right away.
Well, this is the fan panel, right?
Yeah, this is a fan panel.
They're full of shit.
One of the things they brought up flip flappers, and they said something about like, oh yeah, they go into each world that represent their desires, and I'm like, that's not true. Did they even watch the show? There's a whole thing about this character's grandma has Alzheimer's, and they find out from a dream. The like dream world that they were in is not about the desire to get rid of the grandma's Alzheimer's. It's instead about the like the problems, the pressure of having
the fear
this
of it,
whole
yeah.
issue. Yeah, it's a huge deal, and they like go back and forth between what character is which, and they keep being like called different names, and the grandma starts forgetting about them, and then later on we find out whose grandma that was, and we find out that this is some other character's subconscious and fears and thoughts that they're not expressing. It's not desires, like. So at that point, I kind of checked out. I was pissed.
They picked the one show that you would like, you care about to be like,
oh, I know fucking everything, because that world building I think is very unique and interesting. Instead, they took like the most basic, like, yeah, it's their desires, instead of being like everything is an allegory for everything, and the id and ego and subconscious are all represented equally. It's just like I was out, because at that point I knew. Well, if they didn't get this show right,
they're not going to do it.
Do they know what they're talking about? Yeah, like discredited right away.
No, what is funny is that like I think it would have been great if you went into the chat and just started talking mad shit. And I want to take a moment to talk about
yeah, let's talk about the chat.
Let's talk about the chat. So I really liked the way they did the chat for Crunchyroll Expo.
Very good. It's similar to Twitch.
Very smart. So it's your choice whether or not you want to join the chat. It's not just there in your fucking face. So like for like the YouTube panel that I'm watching, it was, I mean, I think there's a way to close the chat, but I was just like, it just streams and streams, and it's just fucking garbage ass people saying, JoJo, when's JoJo, for fucking hours.
But when is JoJo?
It wasn't even then. It was like the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
But so this one, like, you get to put your name in, agree to their conditions, which I'm pretty sure was just like, hey, no hate speech, no, foul words, stuff like that, right?
People still did it, and they just copy and pasted, and they got banned. So there were moderators that were taking care of shit like right away.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
And so I only popped into chat twice, I think, because I'm not a big chat guy.
I just had it up the full time to see if anyone was doing anything. I'm not participating. I'm just looking.
Yeah, I think I did it early on to see, I think on Friday to see what it looked like. And then I did it again later on Sunday to be like, is everybody else having their panel not start on time? And people are like, yo, what the fuck's going on? I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's why the chat's there. So I think the chat was done really well. I liked the way they handled it. I thought it was like cool that it was an option for you to do. And like you said, the moderators are taking care of things. So yeah, good job on the chat. I would have loved for you to be like, fuck this bullshit. You guys don't know shit about flip-floppers. But I'm glad you took the high road.
You know what, man? I was just out. I didn't want to tear somebody apart unless we're on my turf. So I'm tearing you down on the podcast, baby. No, it was just like a disappointment. Then I watched exclusive panel with the staff from the Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter, and I am not gonna be
interested
into that at all, dude. It's essentially just like, yeah, you know, somebody has a little like sex dungeon and you know, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Whoa.
Look forward to that soon. So yeah, that anime is coming out like any day now.
Literally today when the
we'll be able
podcast
to
drops.
watch it. Don't worry about that. Yeah, was not a big fan of that. And then I stopped by for a second to check out Kodansha Comics and Yen Press's Showdown. Now, two different manga companies going up against each other saying like, look at our shit. It's essentially a way for them to talk about different manga that they exclusively have in order to get hype going for both companies. And
that's pretty cool.
Manga sales, really cool idea. Instead, I fucking hated it. It was the worst panel I ever saw. And I just spent a little bit of time earlier talking about how good the vibes were from Yen Press. And then I'm over here like, oh man, this is the shit that I do not vibe with.
Because was it like cringy?
Yeah, I'm a huge fucking nerd. You are too. We go to these things. We see all the cringy people that are like being super embarrassing, but they're having a good time. And that's all that matters. But when you broadcast it to everybody and you're doing that, like, I don't know, man. It's hard for me as somebody who, even though I'm a huge fucking nerd, like I don't vibe that way.
Yeah.
It detracts from some things. And these people are already like joking around and vibing before. So the fact that they can also do like, yeah, well, over here we have this manga and this one's better than yours because it has these things and yours sucks. And like, yeah, just felt like really inauthentic and dumb and embarrassing. And they were just trying to make jokes about like puns with the names and stuff like that. I don't know. It wasn't landing. They were just like, well, we have, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Oh yeah. Well, we have domestic girlfriend. And like, you know, it was just, I don't know.
The idea, again, the idea sounds really cool.
Yeah.
But I as soon as you started saying that, I was like, I very quickly can understand how this could have gone awry.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't think I was ever around that kind of stuff. At least because like my nerd bit wasn't something that like I had with like my original group of friends that I grew up with. Like they didn't really like the same kind of stuff I did.
Right.
It wasn't until I became older that I met other people that also fucked with the shit that I fucked with. So I didn't really have so when I went to my first Crunchyroll Expo, Anime Expo, I was just like, it was a huge culture shock.
It's a shock.
I was like, these are the people, and again, we're not trying to be mean.
These are our people.
We always say like, these are our people. It's fine. It's like, and I go, okay, cool. I probably wouldn't hang out with these people, but it's cool that they like the same thing I like. I'm not gonna, talk shit about them. Dude, but it's just not for me.
As long as you're having a good time together, like that's all good.
Exactly. But the thing is, I think I've become a little desensitized to cringe, and there's like a small niche, like bit of cringe that I'm okay with. Like, I kind of enjoy this. Like as like a sadist, and it's only because something that's built like a cringe crust that has been built upon me after years of like dealing with all this anime stuff. Yeah. But there is absolutely a level to how much cringe I can take, and so I can imagine being like hearing that and being like, out of here, fuck this, say a bad word in the chat, get kicked out, kind of shit.
I was not into that. So I jumped over to a conversation with Erica Mendez, which I was eagerly awaiting. We actually wanted to see if we could get an interview with her, but she wasn't taking that. And I'm like, that's all good. Like, we just figured we would reach out. Whatever.
We would have fucked that up completely. So
we would have butchered it. And essentially, it was fine because this was exactly some of the questions that we would have asked.
Okay, cool.
She started getting into how she got into anime and talked about that for a while. And it was like 30 minutes of her hour-long show where it just cut out.
Oh, what?
And then I was done. That was the last thing that I had to watch. I like refreshed for like 10, 15 minutes. The chat wasn't even coming back. Everything just went down at that time. So
technical issues, Crunchyroll.
I was really disappointed because this was easily my favorite thing that I was watching on Saturday. It was so interesting because she's done directing, voice acting, script writing. Like, she's done everything involved with anime. She plays a lot of different characters from video games and stuff. She did Edelgard's voice from the most recent Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like, she's popular. She's in the know.
Yeah, she's dope with it.
I want to hear about her. She's cool. She's chill. Didn't get that, so I was bummed. End of day 2.
Huge bummer, man. That's a hectic day 2, honestly.
Yeah.
Day 3, you want to get into it?
yeah, let's just kind of wrap it up nice and quick because I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I started with the rise of 2.5D stage play.
I did not start with that.
Yeah, I figured you probably didn't because you're a loser. So 2.5D stage play, essentially we're just talking anime plays and musicals.
Oh, what? Shit. I totally missed that. Yeah. I would have loved to see that.
I know. That's why I'm like,
fuck.
You fucking... But this felt more like a PowerPoint presentation to show to your class about some niche thing. You're doing like public speaking or something. This felt like that. One issue that I guess it's not an issue with Crunchyroll. It's an issue with the online licensing difficulties and whatnot. Legally, Crunchyroll can't show certain things, but if somebody was to show it at a live panel, that would be okay, right?
Yeah.
So they were able to play these clips off of YouTube without any audio. So it was just me watching the boys from Haikyuu just like play a fake game of volleyball and fall on the ground and start singing, but I didn't get to hear any of it.
Singing.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then it did I can never remember the name of it. It's like the pedal show, whatever.
Oh, yeah. I'll look it up for you. Yeah, pedal
it's
boy.
Something with like with a Y. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that show has a stage play adaptation. Got to watch some of that, which these are fun because they're action shows. They're like sports shows, but they're on the stage. So clearly it's going to be a lot different. It was fun to watch, but it definitely would have been more fun in person because we would have gotten to see the clips.
Yeah.
And we've been, really interested in stage plays for manga and anime adaptations.
Well, they always seem to do things that like we can't ever really imagine actually being a live action. Like they have one for Naruto, they have one for fucking what's it called, My Hero, and I was like, and like the costume
Yuri on
looks
Ice.
so bad. Yuri on Ice, and we're like, man, if we ever, because obviously they're not here, they're made in Japan, so they're in Japanese, so it'd be hard to watch one live because we're not gonna know what they're saying. But if we ever get the opportunity to actually like watch one of these in their entirety, I cannot fucking wait to review it because I was like, I'm not a theater guy, but I really want to see what this is. It's like
I want to eat that shit up, dude. It seems crazy. I'm also not a theater dude. Yeah. So very interesting to watch, but
it's just very reminiscent of like the Rugrats going to go watch like Reptar on Ice kind of thing. It's like it gives me that kind of vibes. You know, I'm like, oh man, I really want to see fucking Naruto play.
Well, then you hear like, oh, The Lion King. You got to go see The Lion King.
Yeah,
and I'm like, really? Like,
you mean the Broadway show? Yeah. But so that show, the pedaling one is called Yowamushi Pedal. That's
Yowamushi Pedal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's funny. That's. You know what? I'm glad I didn't see it. I'm glad I didn't watch that panel. And instead you told me about it. So it's really good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. Because everything else at this point had been like, even the fan panel of Hello Big Skirts, that felt a little bit more like, yeah, I'm showing you this stuff, but it didn't feel like it was just a like class presentation, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, next I watched Crunchyroll Originals Presents GB8 panel and episode premiere. Did you watch that?
No, I did not.
All right.
I think I might have watched God of High School drawing before any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They were just drawing and then talking about God of High School. I was like, cool. I like this, but that's because I like God of High School. Yeah, cool. All right, whatever.
I didn't watch any of the drawing ones, but that is a great way to facilitate conversation while something's happening. Like,
yeah, because you get to see shit be happening. Like, oh, they're talking about. Yeah, I was like, cool. So I enjoyed it, but again, nothing blew my mind. But yeah, great.
So yeah, GB8, go ahead. They talked a little bit about the show, and our boy Miles was the host on this one, and I really liked one of the questions he asked. For people that don't know about GB8, essentially it's about like some mutagenic disease is turning people into big old monsters. That's the show.
It's Crunchyroll's version of Kagaster of the Insect Cage, which is the reason I didn't watch this panel is because I remember watching the show and I didn't enjoy it. So I was like, well, I don't want to watch the panel. Yeah, it was simple as that. Like either, nothing against it.
There was nothing else going on at the time, so I checked it out. I watched it up until the episode premiered. So Miles was able to ask, hey, during the current situation of the world with this global pandemic, how do you feel like your show has been influenced? Do you feel like it's a bad time to release it or a good time or whatever he asked, just like about the relation of the show's issue compared to our real life issue. And that's the cool stuff. More or less, he just said, like, yeah, it's kind of interesting, but it's totally different. Like, okay, whatever. And then I watched my favorite panel of everything. What's a New Type? A Brief History of Mecha Anime. This was a podcast by the Space Runaways, who are Philip Watson and Balil Wiggins. This was just them going through the history of mech anime, man. So they started out back early, and then we get into like, okay, so in the 80s, you know, we had these different shows, and you had more like fantasy sci-fi stuff, and you had more like realism in these shows. And then we got into the 90s, and that's when there was the resurgence of mech anime. And then we got some wild shit in the mid 2000s, and I'm like, we really did get some wild shit.
Bro, I'm excited. I'm imagining like, dude, we got some Manziger Z, then we had some fucking Gundam, and then we had like Age of Aquarion, and then we had fucking Evangelion. I was like, yeah, this sounds pretty fun. For someone who doesn't really like mech, I think mechs are pretty cool. Like I've never really
cool. Mech anime, I feel like sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I don't. It's very like mechs don't convince me to watch a show, right?
Yeah, but as I was watching a cool thing.
Talk about these shows passionately and be able to like show clips. Again, they couldn't show the clips with audio, so they had to just show them muted and explained what was happening and why this was an important scene and all the things that made it so interesting. And they did a really good job at showing us why should we care about this show that's 20 something years old. Like
shots fired to the fucker that did the same thing with the fucking plays. Yeah, these guys did it way better.
She was having a rough time. These guys definitely had it all set up with like a presentation where it went from like, oh, here's this orb over here, and then it zooms out and you see another orb, and then it goes like zooms way into that orb, and you only see a part of it. So they had like some animation involved that made it a more engaging topic. Mm-hmm. Definitely a really great panel, and it was just a fan panel. It was just fucking the podcasters. Look, you guys, nothing against all of you guys, but I'm not the biggest podcast guy. I can't do it. I don't know why. I have tried to get into podcasts.
Which is super funny because you have a podcast.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is, I get podcasts. I totally understand them. I'm too visual. I don't know what's going on, man. Like, I got it all up in my brain, but I'm like, but if you show me it, I'm having a better time. So like if I was watching us stream it, which we do on Tuesday nights, sometimes between 8 and 9 is when we start.
You'd enjoy it more.
I'm more engaged. I'm more able to appreciate what's being said.
I really enjoy podcasts. Like I got into podcasts way before I decided to make a podcast. I was like, this is fucking dope. It's like listening to conversation. Obviously, I listen to podcasts I enjoy and people I want to hear talk, right? It's like listening to conversation and not having to fucking say a goddamn word. It's great. Except for when they say something like you don't agree with, and I go, what the fuck, dude? How dare you say that? But there's no way to fucking yell at them. So yeah, when you were telling me about the mech thing, it is something I wanted to check out. I wasn't able to. And then I'm glad that you said it is a podcast. So I'm like, cool, I could check out these guys. They don't post super regularly, you said. They do post, wherever they're at. I think I found them on Apple. You found them. And then I eventually got to find them on, like the Apple podcasting thing. So I'm going to check this out for sure. If I can watch the visual one with the videos, like if it's somewhere like on YouTube or something, I'll check it out. If not, the podcast will probably just do me fine.
Yeah, it was honestly pretty cool. The last thing I watched was Crunchyroll Originals present an exclusive panel with the creators and staff of Noblesse.
I saw that too.
A show that didn't come out. And do you have anything you want to say?
No. The only thing I want to say is that I probably won't watch this.
That my takeaway from this is, oh, cool. It's not for me.
Yeah, no, I probably won't watch this. I know it's for people. I think Sierra would fucking love this show.
Sierra would be all about this.
It's like pretty boys, and they're also like, I think one's a vampire, one's a Frankenstein, one's a werewolf. Yeah. They're in high school.
And this panel was really weird because it was like, all right, I don't know shit about this show. And they're like, how do you feel like you compare to Frankenstein in Noblesse?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
dude, that question.
I don't fucking know who Frankenstein is. I don't care about this panel.
yeah. One of the voice actors was just like really going rogue, and this other voice actor was just like, yeah, man, I read every fucking live, this book about it. I read the fucking manga or whatever. I was like, I'm so stoked. And the guy's like, don't give a shit. Give me my paycheck. And I was like, yeah, I appreciate that. So I don't know. Nobles is for sure for people. It's not for me, I don't think so.
And that is Crunchyroll Expo 2020. Right?
I have two things to talk about.
Okay, you had two more? All right.
Yes. I also then watched the Mesoamerican Gods and Myth, which was a continuation of Onyx Equinox. And then at this time, it was, I think, two hosts again. And then it was the director/creator. And then she had, she was, what's the word? She's like did all the research and stuff. Like, okay, she was like the consultant, like
checker.
Exactly. Yeah. She was the one that was on top of it. She's like she has like a degree in specifically like maybe even a doctorate on like Mesoamerican culture and stuff. So like they just talked more about the myths and like the gods that we'd be kind of seeing in the show without being too spoily, because again, the director did not want to talk about the show at all because she was like, I don't want to spoil it. I just want you to watch it.
Really hard for it being like a heavily featured Crunchyroll panel.
Exactly. When you were on every single fucking day, right?
Like,
in
honestly,
two languages.
Just show us the first episode. That's all that we needed.
Show us the first 5 minutes. And that's all. And I promise I'll watch the rest of it. Right.
Yeah.
But they were talking about like decisions that they had to make and choices, like for design specifically. Like, yeah, well, like, there's sometimes there are gods that are mentioned, but they're not like, it's not too clear on exactly what it is. And like, it's left up to interpretation. So there's like, how can we get, this idea across? Like, this is a feathered, serpent god snake king. Like, how do we visually represent that, and what's the best way to do it and stuff like that? And so she was really happy when she like the director/creator was happy when the first like trailer was dropped and people were like, oh, that's this god, and like, oh, and that's that god, and she's like, okay, good, I did a good enough job for people that know who these people are to be able to point them out.
Yeah, see them and go, yes, I understand.
I understand that. Yeah, and there's people like, I have no idea who any of these people are. I'm like, good, because you don't know about Mesoamerican culture. Let's educate you. And this was when the girl was talking about how like they also had to check people and be like, beasts of burden weren't a thing, take that out, or like chickens weren't a thing, get that out. Buckets weren't, get that out. So it's like it's just cool to just again hear some more about Mesoamerican culture and like what I can be looking forward to for this show. So good. But yeah. And then the last panel I watched, and this was the last panel I was going to watch, was a panel called Working at Crunchyroll. I was like, okay.
This one.
I was like, I'm super stoked for this because who knows? Maybe one day I could work for Crunchyroll or like whatever. Like, it'd just be interesting to see what they do and like what their lives entail. Like, because like there's people behind the scenes. Obviously, they don't. Well, in recent years, they started making anime. But before that, it was like they were just like a service. And how does this all look? So it was supposed to start at 4. I had dinner at 5. It was like, but it was supposed to be done by 4:50 or whatever, 4:45 or some shit. So I'm waiting. I'm there, excited, and like nothing. It's like radio silence. And I was like, am I on the right stage? Like, should I go to the other stages and check out the other stages? Nothing. I was like, This is when I hopped in the chat again. I was just like, let me check out the chat and see what people are saying. And then the people in the chat like, hey, why is it late? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's not just me. It's everybody. So then I texted you. I was like, hey, man, the thing I want to watch is like 20 minutes late and I'm still waiting. And you're like, dude, that sucks. I'm like, I guess I'll never know what it's like to work at Crunchyroll, And eventually it just started. It just kind of abruptly started. And it was just like, okay, cool. And I don't know if it was...
Well, because also, so people are very clear, in between shows, they keep playing ads and music.
The same
and
ad,
stuff. Yeah. So you'll be watching a mobile phone game ad again and again.
Yeah,
I don't know how many times I saw the Overlord game,
Dude, I saw anyways, it is very repetitive. But I kind of would rather like that than them breaking up the way AX did. Like, here's a weird clip of someone doing fucking watercolors or whatever. I don't know. Anyways.
I liked that, but it was also, yeah, it was different.
Yeah. So eventually they finally got on. They started talking. The people that were there was like, I think the person that was hosting had been there the longest. She was there for 9 years at Crunchyroll working for them. And then the next person, the longest there was like 7 years. And then it was like a year and a half, 2 years, year kind of stuff. And they introduced like 4 different people. One works in, she said it was like digital marketing. The other one works in financing. One works in the, what's it called? The translation department, like they do like subs and dubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I could not tell you what the last guy did. It was like he did something. I don't remember what they did.
He worked there.
He worked there, yeah. And I was like, all right, let's see how they do it. It was pre-recorded. It was like one of those things where it was like a Zoom meeting. It would kind of, cut to whoever's speaking.
A lot of these were pre-recorded, but some of the pre-recorded ones felt a little unnatural. They tried to be natural, but it was pre-recorded, so the other people didn't respond in a natural way.
Yeah, I think maybe they psyched themselves out being like, hey, don't forget, thousands of people are going to be watching this. Like, we got to pretend like there's an audience here, but it's just them talking,
Yeah.
And also sometimes there was edits, and like the edits weren't the cleanest, but whatever. So she was facilitating the thing and like asking questions like, hey, how do you do this? And how do you get into it? What's your actual job kind of stuff? I think I got, because I eventually had to leave dinner, so I didn't get to watch all of it, but I got to hear what the dub lady does, and I got to hear what the lady that does like digital marketing and stuff for the web platform and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's really cool. It's really interesting. It also is just a job. Like one guy I had to make sure the budget's right. I pay the bills. He's the Beliza of Crunchyroll. I was like, cool, man. But the one thing that I thought was super funny was, because it is a Zoom meeting and like they had the feature on where like whoever's speaking, it'll like pop to their camera, right? So every now and then, so people were talking, the host was talking to the person that does the dub or the person that does the marketing or whatever. And then every now and then the guy that does financing would pop in. Like he would just like, boop, his thing would light up. So it would
off for a second. Yeah.
Indicating that he might've said something, but he wouldn't say anything. He would just kind of sit there and he'd be on there for a screen for 3-4 seconds. And then it'd pop over to someone speaking. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy's farting, bro. He's farting. The mic is picking it up. It's very subtle. And I was just like, so I enjoyed so even though I was kind of bored a bit, I was just like, every time it cuts to him, he just farted. And I was just like, yeah, man, this is how I'm enjoying this panel. Eventually I had to leave, so I left. But yeah, it was something. One panel I did watch in between something. I don't remember what day it was, but I remembered enjoying it a lot. And I left to go watch like another panel that was like, not in my opinion, it was like one of the Crunchyroll originals, thing. So I was like, I got to go watch this. Or it might have even been like a Crunchyroll virtual panel or something like that. But it was just it was a panel about people of color, black people represented in anime. And like one guy, he is black and he lives in Japan. And the other person that was like, I think facilitating / hosting, kind of asking the questions he was Asian American. He also lived in Japan and they both work in the industry. And it was just really cool to hear two people have an intellectual conversation about race in anime. And I was just like, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this, especially in like the climate that we're living in now. So it was great. Like I said, I did have to leave because I was scheduled to watch something else. But if I could, I would have gone back to I should have just watched that instead of whatever I ended up watching because I did enjoy them a lot. And that's it. That closes out the 3 days. Let's talk about the positives and then what they can fix and we can leave. Positives. I really like the VOD feature. I think it was really smart for them to collect. I think they had said beforehand that like not everything was going to be put on VOD, but everything I wanted to watch was put there on the VOD. So there's like a separate link and they were broken up into chunks. And I was like, you would just kind of scrub through like this playlist of 8 things and find the thing you wanted to watch. And I thought it was great because there's a few times where I had to go to the bathroom or I had to like go pick up my nephew or something. And so I'd missed like the last 20 minutes of something. So then the next day or later that day, I could be like, all right, I want to go finish that panel. Yeah. Here I go. Or you could get a taste of stuff. So even during the actual me watching Crunchyroll, like, and I'd go check out this panel and that panel. And I was like, well, I have to go watch this panel. I could go back and watch more. So I think that was really well done. I don't know if AX said they do something like that or if they were going to, but I don't remember there being any type of VOD for them.
The thing about the VOD that it was pretty disappointing to me is that they're gone. There are no VODs anymore. It was just during the expo.
That is very true. I understand why they did it though. Like it makes sense. Like there's like, well, like
I wish that they gave us like 2 more days though
of the VOD. That would have been nice.
Like,
yeah,
you want to watch all of it. It's impossible for you to watch all of it, right?
Right.
But the benefit of doing this from at home is that
I should be able to watch all of it.
Watch all of it.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit bummed about that, but I also thought that it was great that they gave us the option to go back and check stuff out, especially if we're like, you know what, I'm not vibing with any of these panels. So I'm going to go watch this one from yesterday. Like that's awesome that you have that option.
Yeah, I really like. Yeah, I agree. I really like that. It would have been nice to be like, hey, at least give us Monday, because Monday was Labor Day and a lot of people didn't do anything.
Right? Yeah.
So be like, hey, man, catch some more VOD on Monday. But it does make sense as to why Crunchyroll did that. They wanted to make you feel like that exclusivity, like, hey, you were here, you watched it, and now it's over, and now it's gone forever. Kind of like things exist. I know you said that some things might even still be on YouTube, and I think we'll be able to find some things that were put over there, but. Yes, I liked the VOD feature. I thought it was really well done. I liked the chat feature. That was really well done. I liked the app. The app at times was frustrating, but there's things I liked about it a lot. I liked that they made their own app. I liked that it was like the schedule when we used the clicker that would show you like blocks and panels and times. I thought it looked really like nice. Other things like
Crunchyroll Expo, we've downloaded the app for the previous one that we went to, so it's nothing new to us, but yeah, each year they keep improving upon it. Anime Expo does the same thing. It's kind of a necessity now for these big ass conventions to have some kind of an app that has floor plans and schedules and
or your ability your ability to save what you want to watch and stuff. It's like it's nice. So yeah,
and
that was really
cool. You can also
cool.
use the app to do the scavenger hunt, the Onyx Equinox scavenger hunt game. So they took it to another level by being like, hey, get the app so you could play this game, and you can be entered for rewards, so you could get like a free year of Crunchyroll Premium or like whatever the fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really cool. I think that they were trying to like make things more, user friendly and nice, and I really liked it. Again, I mentioned earlier I didn't like how hard it was to watch things at times. Like a button, that you could have created would have made it easier at the top, right?
Just a little bit more like in your face and obvious, opposed to like a big ass HTML link.
Yeah,
just a very clean like watch now thing.
Yeah, click here, play here, right? VOD here. So yeah, the biggest downfall I think we said earlier was it wasn't like the content wasn't mind-blowing. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't like every day didn't have something like that was just like, I'm so glad I did this. It was more like, oh, this is a really cool time to hang out with our community and see other people being passionate. Like you said, you saw some really cool like fan stuff. You also saw some pretty cringy fan stuff. But
and that's, we get the option of seeing that though. That's what I talked about earlier. Like we don't have to commit to a panel. You could go and check it out, and then you could switch over to something else. And doing that allowed us to get a much broader perspective on different parts of anime. So I appreciated that, while I was also disappointed with the announcements and content. It gave me the opportunity to go and check out this dude's podcast where he's talking about mech anime that I fucking loved, apparently.
For sure. So yeah, it was cool. I think as a whole, virtual Crunchyroll Expo was good. Like it was fine. I had a time. I would have much rather been there in person. I know it would have been 100 times better, but because of the way things are, we can't do that. Was this better than Anime Expo Lite? Oh, absolutely. I feel like so much better.
But I still feel like I wasted my 3-day weekend. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I could have watched a few of those and been good, because not everything was for me. But I kept watching, and I got burnt out. Like, I watched fucking 8 hours of Crunchyroll Expo shit, and then I'm like, I'm
Saturday.
burnt out. Yeah, like, I don't know if I could do this tomorrow. And then I obviously did not do the same thing the next day.
Yeah, you couldn't,
because I took as much as I could in as possible, overcompensating for missing Friday, and not everything's for me.
Yeah.
I feel like my weekend could have been better utilized. But this is so new. This is so fresh. There might have been bigger announcements if it were in person. It could still change. I would have had a much better time if I went in person, clearly. But this was a pretty good alternative overall. Like, you still get to see some cool fan panels, and you still get to learn about shit that you normally wouldn't be that into. And being able to watch the chat and stuff, it felt very much like the conversations that you'll have in line with the people that you're standing next to or whatever. Everyone's vibing about stuff like, oh yeah, I got into anime at this time. Like, I'm excited about this coming out next season. It's like, oh shit, that's so cool. Like, you into cosplaying? I'm like watching these conversations go on. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Like anything, there could be improvements. I hope this is the last virtual Crunchyroll we have to go to because of the situation. It's not like people would take this over, and continue the coronavirus, obviously. But if it does continue, I have like mad faith that they can just keep getting better. And maybe, like you had mentioned earlier, maybe virtual Crunchyroll can just be a thing that is a part of regular Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like an added on feature. Like, hey, you weren't able to go, to, was it Santa Cruz? No,
San Jose.
San Jose.
We're fortunate enough to live only a few hours away.
Yeah.
And if I was in the middle of the country, fuck that. I'm not going to goddamn San Jose for this bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. But like maybe they can do the VOD thing, for the 3 days or whatever. And there be a free feature and, scavenger hunts and stuff, and people can enjoy it and feel like they're a part of the community and not missing out for reasons like that, financial reasons, or like, where you are in the world.
At least for some panels, like some fan panels and stuff like that. Clearly not for the premieres, but it would be very cool to see certain conversations and be able to participate in like at least announcements. Like we'll go every year, we go to different panels where it's like, okay, they're announcing new manga. We're not big manga fans, but let's go check it out.
Yeah.
For the big manga fans out there that can't go and see it, you still like get updates of like, you're on Twitter, you're hanging out. Oh shit, this is gonna get adapted into a TV show. That's fucking sick.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But instead, you could be there and you could see the announcement because there's no reason. You're seeing it anyways seconds later.
Might as well like get a little bit of participation and feel like you're not missing out.
Yeah.
So good job, Crunchyroll. Keep up the good work. I think you guys can. Obviously, I think you do better, but I don't feel like I wasted my time. I feel like I had a great weekend. It was my birthday weekend. I don't care.
Hell yeah.
Okay, man. I think that's it for Virtual Crunchyroll Expo, right?
Hell yeah.
You want to talk about it some more?
Nah, there also was like some game areas of the website, and there were other features that we didn't really get into as much.
I peeked it for like a second, and I was just like, yeah, this isn't for me. This section isn't for me.
Huge shout out to the artist Sally that they wound up making though. Because
while
I don't need any more art, I'm fucking chock full of it over here. My whole room is plastered with posters.
This room.
Not this one. That's fine. I don't need this one plastered. They did a really good job at being like, hey, you could post on our online store and you could advertise to people this way. So you have a lot of different artists to go and check out in the Artist Alley on the Crunchyroll Expo website. That was sick.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that. I also checked it out just to see how they did it. It was really cool. I like the way Artist Alley worked out. You just find the artist by their name, click on their work. They'd have maybe like 4 or 5 pieces, and then you could like buy it. I did not care for the exhibition hall version. It was like essentially just redirect you to this person's website, and I was just like, oh, okay, so I could just do this myself if I wanted to. I could just Google this specific figure and buy it myself. I understand what they're trying to do. It didn't feel as special as it did for the Artist Alley. So I know.
Oh well.
And I agree. I also don't need more artwork. When my parents came in, my dad's just like, I think you need to get bigger walls if you want to keep putting shit on there. I was just like, fuck you, Dad.
Yeah.
Good. I think it's important to support artists, especially in this time where like they make a lot of their money through this, these conventions and stuff, and them not being able to be there really hurts them. So for Crunchyroll to be like, let's reach out, let's make sure this is a thing. That's super cool on them. Good job. All right. Next week, what are we doing? We're doing something about
Children of the Sea. It's on Netflix. Everybody watch it. G Kids and whatnot. It's going to be a great time. Let's do it.
Okay, so if you like our theme song, check out Tom Nasser on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram podcast.
If you want to tweet.
What the fuck?
I forgot. I missed my spot. My bad. Go for it.
Yeah, if you want to tweet at us, tweet at Instagram Pod.
Podcast of it.
There you go. And then we have been streaming on Twitch every week between 8 and 9 p.m. You could watch the VODs if you want to see it, if you're more of a visual dude, like I said I was earlier. Or if you just want to vibe. We chat a little bit before recording, chat a little bit after. So come and hang out. And finally, you want to email us? We got an email. InstaGramPodcast@gmail.com. That's it.
This is bye from Juan.
This is bye from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.